I'm not sure. He has in the past, and we're all ready to go. Bright day, warm sun, and we should have a lot of speed out there on the field. These teams have relied on it all season, and I think you'll see a lot of fast running today.
Everyone here is expecting we'll see a lot of it. The ball is being teed up now on the Stanford 40-yard line, for which point Wilkinson will kick off for Stanford. Let's see, we have Storm, Vick, Manugian, Garner, Bonetti, Pyle, and McCall in the forward wall for Stanford. Let's see, it's going to be Bob Myers kicking off instead. Bob Myers will kick off instead of Occasion. So we're ready to go. Bob Myers, the starting fullback, to kick off. Rolly Bonham blows the whistle. Here comes Myers forward, moving up to the 40-yard line, boots the ball deep in the South Territory. Going back to pick the ball up on the 10-yard line is Johnny Karras, who's back to the 20. Hit at the 20-yard line, spins, goes over to the 25, and drops down on the 25-yard line. Hit very hard by Roy Edie. Now let's see, for the offensive backfield for the Funny Illini, they are on their own, make it 19-yard line. On the 19-yard line, first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois as they huddle. We have Tom McConnell in the backfield at quarterback. At left halfback, Pete McCorris. At right halfback is Johnny Karras. The fullback is Bill Tate. Up to the line of scrimmage now, the tight team in the backfield behind the balanced line. A flanker out to the right this time as he moves on the signal being called. The ball is taken by Connell. It's a feed off to his left halfback McCoy, to the left side of the line, over the 25 and up to about the 27-yard line with Al Kirkland making the stop along with Jesse Cohn defensively for Stanford. There's a Stanford defensive team in the lineup in the ball game right now. The lineup is Jack Rye at left end. We have Latham at tackle, King and Cole at the guards, and we also have Cook in the ball game. Kirkland and Edie in the forward wall. In the backfield, backing up, we have Ted Tanner and Chuck DeCease. Tight team Illinois backfield, they send a flanker out to the right once more. On their second down, on their own 27-yard line. The ball is snapped back. There's a fake pitch out, the handoff again to McCoy. He's to the right side, up to his own 35, still in his feet to the 40, up to the 45-yard line, hit and drop at his own 46-yard line. Finally, Dick Horn, defensive left halfback of Stanford, was able to make the tackle. So it's going to be at first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois on their own 46-yard line. They took that ball from their 19 to their 46-yard line for 27 yards. So it's first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois. The ball is equidistant between sidelines on the Illinois 46-yard line. Up to the line of scrimmage now. Tight T in the backfield. They may hike out of it. They do send a flanker out to the left as the end to the left splits wide. The ball comes back to O'Connell. He feeds it off to Karras. He's right around the left side up to the 50-yard line. Hit at the 50. Spins and drives over to the 47-yard line in the territory of Stanford before Roy Edie, defensive right end of Stanford, is able to make the stop. So let's see. That ball is brought from the 46-yard line in Illinois territory over to the 47-yard line in the territory of Stanford. Coming up for Illinois, and they have just about 2 yards to gain. Second and about 2.5. Ball about 15 yards into the sideline on this side of the field. There's a flanker out wide to the right. That's Johnny Karras. The end splits wide to the right. Ball comes back, and there is a feed off to the fullback. Takes through the middle of the line, up to the 30-yard line. Still on his feet to the 20. And he's down to the 10-yard line. Finally hit and dropped by Dick Horn on the Stanford 5-yard line. Bill Tate on a delayed line buck, hitting the right side of the line, right through right guard, cut back over on this side of the field, ran down the sideline, and makes it first down 5 and goal to go for Illinois on the Stanford 5-yard line. Now let's see, that ball went from the 47-yard line down to the 5-yard line for 42 yards. 42 yards. It's first 5 and goal now for Illinois. There's a hike out to the right. See in the backfield, and the ball is being given down to he's cut back on the 8-yard line, behind the line of scrimmage. Cut back on the 8-yard line, so he'll lose 3 on that play. Number 37 with the ball. It's second down coming up. Second down coming up, and about 6 yards to go. Second and 6. Second 6 and goal for Illinois. Back in the huddle goal, Illinois. Signals are being called out now by quarterback Tom McConnell. Boy from Chicago South, sophomore at Illinois, behind the balanced line, sends his flanker out to the right. That is Johnny Karras. The man in motion out to the left. There is a pitch back to Buckers. He's up to the line of scrimmage. Hit the goal line, and over he goes for a touchdown for Illinois. Pete Bucker is from the 7-yard line on the pitch out, swinging right around the left end, with Bill Tate in motion in front of him to give him downfield blocking. Pete Bucker makes a touchdown for Illinois. Sam Rebecca, the senior from Rockford, Illinois, and specialist at the point after touchdown, has come in. He's going to try for the extra point. The hold the ball will be Don Engels. Don Engels, substitute quarterback, will come in to hold the ball for Sam Rebecca. Don Engels from Chicago, he's a senior, ready to have the ball snapped back by Dan Sabino, the center. The score is 6-0 in favor of Illinois over Stanford. The opening moments of the Rose Bowl game here at Pasadena. The ball is snapped back, placed on the ground. Rebecca moves forward. It's blocked. It's blocked by John Sanders of Stanford as he came charging in from his flank position. So it's a block kick for the extra point, and that means that it's a 6-0 ball game in favor of Illinois. And say, while they're waiting then to line up, I'd just like to say that shaving's a lot easier and more convenient with the Gillette Super Speed Razor. Rudy Valentino is ready to kick off for Illinois. On the whistle, he moves forward to the 40, boots the ball deep into Stanford territory. Down to the 5-yard line. It's being taken by Mathias. He's coming over on the sideline, is hit and dropped finally on the 15-yard line. Comes back for about 10 yards as Berchet, defensive left tackle, makes the stop. So let's see. The ball is actually on the 16-yard line. Actually on the 16-yard line of Stanford. First down and 10 yards to go. Bob Myers comes back in at fullback for Stanford. Out goes Mathias. We have Ron Cook at right halfback, Harry Hugasian at left halfback. There is a flank tee out to the left this time. The ball comes back and is handed off by the quarterback to Harry Hugasian. He's through the left side of the line, over his left guard, up the 20-yard line to the 24-yard line, before Chuck Borio, backing up the right side of the Illinois line, is able to make the stop. So the ball is moved up from the 16-yard line up to the 24-yard line for a substantial gain. There is another handoff in the backfield. This time it is to Ron Cook, the right halfback, and he tries to spin his way through the right side of the line, gets up to the 25, is hit at the 25-yard line, but Don Ernst, the right guard of Illinois, and stopped at that point. That means the third down will be coming up with 3 to go for Stanford. They're 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. 6-0 in favor of Illinois. Now we'll see. Tight team in this backfield this time for Stanford. There is a handoff. Right quickly to Bob Myers, who pounds through the right side of the line. He may have come up enough to make it a first down, but there's a fumble down there, I believe. And we'll see who has recovered it. Myers, the fullback, pounding through the right side of the line. The official, Raleigh Barnum, has come in to place the ball on the ground. It looks as though it may be on about the 27-yard line. It is enough for a first down for Stanford. On the 27, first down and 10 yards to go for Stanford. On their own 27-yard line. They are 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. 6-0 in favor of Illinois. There's a wide flanker going out to the left this time. That's Ron Cook in the T formation. There is a crossover handoff to Harry Hugasian, who tries to come through the middle of the line and is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Chuck Borio backing up the right side of the Illinois line, along with Elliot Popa, certainly have been cracking in there and moving in low and fast. Illinois using a 6-2-2-1 defense. It's second down coming up now, and about 9 yards to go. Second and about 9, there's a wide flanker going out to the left. That's Ron Cook from Stanford. As the ball is taken back to Coy, he fades back. He's being chased, then gets a pass off into the flat. On the far side to Hugasian on the 30. He's up to his own 40, to the 44-yard line. Hit and knocked out of bounds, and the headlinesman is also knocked down on the far side by a clip. On the 44-yard line, as Stan Wallace pushes him out of bounds on the 44-yard line. So there is a move from the 27 to the 44 of 17 yards for a first down for Stanford. So we're ready to go. Stanford having the ball, first down at 10 yards to go on their own 44, and a fine pass from Gary Kotorian, who right now comes out into the flat to the right on the T formation. He is the wide flank back. There is going fading back, going a long pass downfield, and is completed to the call on the 50, and he struggles and fights his way to the 45, loses the ball. There's a scramble. The whistle is already blown. It looks as though the whistle is already blown down on the Illinois 45-yard line, where it will be first down, 10 yards to go for Stanford from that point. First down and 10 yards to go for Stanford from their own 44 to the 45-yard line in Illinois territory for a gain of 11 yards on that forward pass. The ball is equidistant between sidelines on the Illinois 45-yard line. Out of the huddle come the Stanford end ends. On the T formation, the wide flanker out to the right, the end split wide. Krikourian takes the ball, and on it, the late line bucket is Bob Myers hammering into the middle of the line. Gets nowhere, absolutely nowhere, with Marvin Berchet in there to roll under low and make the stop. So it's still 6-0 in favor of Illinois, and Stanford has opened their passing attack against the Illinois ball club. And time is being taken out by Illinois. Time being taken out by Illinois, with the score standing 6-0 in favor of Illinois. Well, say, men, tough beard is no problem when you shave with the modern Gillette Super Speed razor. This razor always gives you smooth, spick-and-span shaves quickly and easily. What's more, ingenious one-piece construction makes it the most convenient type of razor money can buy. Yes, the Gillette Super Speed changes blades instantly, cleans instantly, and shaves like a charm. There's nothing to take apart or put together. Nothing to jam or clog, and every stroke is light and gentle. For a world of shaving ease and satisfaction, buy a Gillette Super Speed razor. You get it with the 10-blade Gillette dispenser in a handsome styrene travel case that opens at a touch. Yes, men, and for this big $1.75 value, you pay only $1 at any convenience store. And we pause now 10 seconds for station identification. Right back here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. We have a couple of substitutions for you. We'll give them to you in a moment. Right now, Krikourian is operating from the tee, fades off to the right, shoots a pass out into the flat. That is completed. A big Hagazian, he's down to the 30-yard line in the territory of the Fighting Illini. A completed pass from Krikourian to Hagazian, the left halfback. He's down to the 30-yard line, moving from the 45 for a gain of 15 yards. And another first down and 10 yards to go. First and 10 for Stanford. On the Illinois 30-yard line, about 20 yards into the sideline across the way. Changes up front for Stanford. Or rather, not fullback, but safety man is Alfred Brusky, one of the fine ball players on defense. White flank tee out to the right this time for Stanford on first and 10. There is a handoff in the backfield. Going through the left side is Ron Cook. Taking the handoff, moving over the 30-yard line as Chuck Borio meets him at about the 28 and drops him. So it's second down coming up. Second down coming up. Let's see how much he did gain actually. I believe a red flag went down on the field that time. We may have an unnecessary roughness penalty being charged against Stanford. We'll see that in just a moment. Where it'll be first down and 25 yards to go. First down, 25 yards to go for Stanford. They split the ends wide, send a flanker out to the left. That's Ron Cook. There is Krikourian fading back with the ball, looking for someone to pass to. He's being chased now. Runs off to the right, comes up to the 50-yard line, stops, shoots one downfield. That is completed to Big McCall on the 25-yard line. He's hit and dropped immediately. Make it for 24. No wonder this boy McCall was an All-American. He's up high in the air, and a 225-pounder can really get in there and go. So that pass completed from the 45-yard line to the, actually, make it the 24-yard line for a 21-yard gain. A 21-yard gain in the first down, and rather second down, and just about 3 yards to go. Make it 4 yards to go. There's a flanker out to the left this time. Krikourian takes the ball, fades off to the left. He's looking for someone to pass to, fires it across the line, and splits the play. He's Cook on the 10-yard line. He steps back a couple of yards trying to get away from a tackler who's hit and dropped on the 14. Let's see who made the tackle that time. It must have been Herb Nethery, the left halfback from Hoopson, Illinois. So it's enough for a first down. I believe, yes, enough for a first down for Stanford on the, make it 13-yard line of Illinois. For Stanford on the Illini 13. Wide flanker out to the right this time. Krikourian, the quarterback, takes the ball, hands it off to his left halfback, Hagazian, who pounds into the 10-yard line. Hit it to 10 and falls forward to the 9. Bob Lenzini, defensive left guard of Illinois, was under there close and low to make the stop. The official places the ball, however, on the 8-yard line. Second down coming up and about 5 yards to go for Stanford. The flanker comes out wide to the right once more. McCall splits wide at right end. Krikourian, the center, takes the ball, hands it over this time to his left halfback, and that's Hagazian. He pounds through the left side, drives and butts his way up to the 5. And that's where he stopped at the 5-yard line. He falls forward just over the 5, nose in to the 4-yard line. But it is just nose over the 5, so actually we'll call it the 5-yard line. It'll be third down coming up and just about a yard to go. The stop was made that time by Don Ernst and Bob Lenzini, the defensive guards of Illinois. Third and 2. Third and about 2 for Stanford on the Illini 5-yard line, and Illinois leads 6-0. There's Krikourian in a tight tee in the backfield, handing off this time to Myers, the fullback. He drives up to the 1-yard line and stopped at the 1-yard line. So that's going to be enough for a first down. First down, 1 yard, goal to go for Stanford on the Illinois 1-yard line. That was Bob Myers on a direct butt through the left side, splitting left guard and left tackle. driving over on the left side, 15 yards off from the sideline across the way. Gary Krikorian, the quarterback, has called his signals. Tight T in the backfield. Let's see who handles. There is the left halfback of Gazian through on the left side, over for a touchdown. Everybody here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, with 4 minutes and 55 seconds left to play in the first period. The score is all tied up at 6-6. Now let's see who's going to try for the extra point here. To hold the ball, it will be number 25, Hugazian, who just made a touchdown, and Gary Krikorian, the quarterback, will try for the extra point, and he very seldom ever misses. There is a red flag going down on the field as Illinois charges before the ball is snapped. From its original point, we're ready to go. Here is the snap to be made. Back to the ball handler. And there is the kick by Krikorian. It's good. The score is 7-6 in favor of Stanford. Well, we're about ready to go now with Stanford to kick off to Illinois. And he's been sitting over there chewing on his hat brim ever since it started. And I know he'll have plenty to say about this one. There's Myers forward on the whistle. Boots for Stanford down deep into Illinois territory. Johnny Karras over on the 5-yard line, the far sideline, takes a handoff as he comes scooting around the left side. Back to the 15. He's bottled in and knocked out of bounds on the 17-yard line on this side of the field by Cook. Cook from Modesto knocked him out of bounds. He was also helped on that play by Edie. So let's see now. It is first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois. The ball is on their own, make it 18-yard line instead of 17 as the official moves it forward by about another yard. In the Illinois backfield, Tom O'Connell at quarterback. At left halfback, Pete Baccaris. At right halfback is Johnny Karras, and the fullback is Bill Tate. A flanker goes out to the right this time as O'Connell is getting ready to handle the ball. He hands it off this time to his fullback Tate, who pounds to the right side of the line over the 20, up to about the 22-yard line before he's stopped by Cook. And this boy, Hart Cook, is playing on the left side of the Stanford line, his left guard. As I said a moment ago, he's a senior from Modesto, California. He's been in on most every tackle that has happened during the time he has been playing defense. There's a tight team in the backfield with a flanker moving out to the right. That's Karras. Ready for the ball to be snapped back to O'Connell. Back it comes. He fakes a pitch up and hands it off to his fullback, Tate, who is through the left side of the line, drives, fights his way up to the 30, still on his feet, still drives, and fights his way up to the 37. That's Cook. That's Cook making the stop along with Bob Latham. It's a first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois on their own 38-yard line. On the 38. So it's first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois. Let's check the backfield once again for you. At quarterback is O'Connell. Halfback is Pete Baccaris. At right halfback is Karras. The fullback is Tate. There is a flanker coming out to the left this time as the end splits wide for Illinois in first and 10. The ball is handed off this time to Johnny Karras, who swings off the wing, tries to come through the left side and picks up just about 1 yard as he's stopped by the entire right side of the Stanford line, namely Cone, Kirkland, and Edie. So it isn't much of a gain on that one. Makes it second down coming up and 8 yards to go for Illinois. The ball resting on their own 40 for a 2-yard pickup. The ball is about 20 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. On the Illinois 40 in favor of Stanford over Illinois. The difference has been Krikorian's extra point. There's a flanker out once again to the right. Connell takes the ball, pitches back this time to his fullback Tate, who swings wide at the left side, comes up to the 44-yard line, and goes out of bounds at the 44 as he's finally pushed out of bounds by Bob Thompson, defensive right halfback of Stanford. Cook was also in on that play. Well, let's see. The ball has been moved up now to the 44-yard line for a gain of 4 yards. Makes it third down, and we still have about 4 yards to gain for Illinois. We have a substitute coming in for Stanford. We have Skip Christ coming in to back up the left side of the line, replacing Ted Tanner. 6-2-1 defense by Stanford. There's a out to the right. That's Johnny Karras as the end again splits wide. Rest of the backfield is in tight on the tee. There is a fake handoff, and finally the ball is given over to the fullback Tate. And he piles through the left side of the line. Bill Tate, 187-pounder from Mattoon, drives the ball up to the 50-yard line with Skip Christ making the stop for Stanford. The ball is right on the 50-yard line for a pickup this time, 6 yards. So let's see how much that's going to be. Well, there's going to be a penalty inflicted on Illinois at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, with the score standing 7-6 in favor of Stanford over Illinois. In kick formation, standing back on his own 20-yard line, we have, let's see, that's Tom O'Connell, widespread formation. And O'Connell fades back, shoots a long pass way downfield. That is almost intercepted by the left halfback, Dick Horn. But he isn't able to get his hands on it back on his own 40. That ball was intended for Rex Smith, the right end of Illinois. So it's 4th and about 17 yards to go for Illinois. The ball being brought back, and time is being taken out by Illinois. The ball is resting on their 31-yard line. It is Illinois' ball. 4th down and 17 yards to go with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in the first period. Stanford leading Illinois 7-6. He plays second string right halfback or third string right halfback on offense. Back in safety position, Sanders and Thompson. Double safety for Stanford, standing back in the Stanford 20 and 25 respectively. Hands outstretched down there on the 16-yard line. The ball comes back to Miller. The kid boots it. It's a high one coming downfield to the Stanford 35, bounces on the 35, rolling to the 30, kicks on back to the 25, crosses the 25, noses in, rolls down to the 18, and at the 17-yard line rolls dead. 20 seconds left to play in the first period of a ball game that has Stanford out in front 7-6. Now let's see, in the Stanford backfield, we have Krikorian, Cook, Myers, and Hugazian. There is Ron Cook, way out wide on the flank on this T formation. There is Krikorian feeding that ball off to his halfback, or his fullback Myers, who takes on the crossbuck coming through the right side of the line. He's met by Chuck Borio, who really came in and dropped him right at the line of scrimmage. Harry Hugazian was also in on that play. He was trying to do a little blocking. This Borio really came in. I'll let you know that Borio bores in. Now we're ready to go here with Stanford moving the field, sends a wide flanker out to the left. That's Cook. There is a handoff this time to Harry Hugazian through the left side of the line, up to his own 25, hitting, spins away from 2 men, and drives the ball up to his own 27-yard line. Up to the 27-yard line for a pickup of just about 10 yards. And it's just close enough that the officials are going to have to measure to see whether or not it is a first down with 1 minute and 38 seconds left to play in the first period of a ball game. Let's see, it's being measured. It is short. Let's call it 1 yard again, although it's actually about a foot. The ball resting down there on the 27-yard line, just about the 27-yard line, 15 yards in the sideline inside of the field. Tight T in the backfield this time. There's the ball being handed off to Hugazian, and he hurdles the line over the 30 and makes it a first down on about the Stanford 31-yard line with Bob Waddell of Webster Groves, Missouri, the junior 210, making the stop for Illinois. Going to be a first down and 10 yards for Stanford on their own 31-yard line. First 10 Stanford on their own 31. Score 7-6 in favor of Stanford over Illinois with 1 minute and 12 seconds left to play in the first period. Flanker out to the left is Ron Clark, this time on the T formation, split wide. There is Krikorian fading back. He's getting protection. Now he's suddenly bottled up, gets more protection, and he finally slowed under and knocked down back on his own 26-yard line. Cliff Walviser, the right end, came filtering through and made the stop on the 26. So there's a loss from the 31 back to the 26 of 5 yards. It'll make the second down come up 15 yards to gain for Stanford. They are 15 yards into the sideline across the way on their own 26. We have about 40 seconds left to play in the first period of the ball game. 7-6, favor of Stanford. There's a wide flanker coming out to the right again. It is Cook. Krikorian up tight. Gary calls his signals. Feeds the ball off to Hugazian again on a fake handoff to his fullback. Hugazian coming across in the crossbuck. Takes the ball and goes through the center of the line with Chuck Borio there to meet him. So it'll be 3rd and 15 coming up. 3rd down and 15 yards coming up for Stanford. The ball is about 15 yards into the sideline across the way. McCall splits wide this time up front. He's the All-American right end. Tight in the backfield. Krikorian takes the ball, fades back. He's looking for McCall. Here comes a long pass downfield to him. McCall juggles the ball and finally takes it. Finally takes it on the 50-yard line. Steps out on the 49-yard line of Illinois. Big McCall gets that pass completed on the 49-yard line for a 20-yard forward motion. It's a first down and 10 yards to go. A 1st and 10. First down and 10 yards to go for Stanford on the Illini 49 as Bob Mathias comes back in the backfield at fullback, relieving Bob Myers. Bob Mathias, the junior from Tulare, the decathlon champion. And there, everybody, is the end of the first period of the ball game. It's 7-6 in favor of Stanford over Illinois. And fans, the best way to get tough beard ready for smooth, easy shaving is to give it a quick workout, and it keeps the bacteria count down. Enjoy shaves at our shave. Use K34. On a swing off to the left this time, Gary Krikorian carrying the ball. Swings wide to his left, moves down to the 40-yard line, is hit by Chuck Borio backing up the line, and goes out of bounds on the 39-yard line in Illinois territory, and it is a first down. So it's first down and 10 yards to go. 1st and 10 for Stanford on the Illini's 39-yard line. 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. And we're having a substitute coming in the ball game. That's going to be Larry Stevens. Larry Stevens coming in for Waldbieser. Larry Stevens coming into the ball game. Wide flanker out to the right this time. On a 1st and 10 for Stanford. There is Krikorian on a running pass over to the right. Have it knocked out of bounds by the defensive halfback of Illinois, Herb Nethery. Herb Nethery knocked the ball out of bounds. It was intended for Ron Cook, the right halfback, on a wide, flat downfield pass. And on the 30-yard line, knocked out of bounds. Well, let's see now. Coming out is Harry Hagazian. Bob Myers is coming in the ball game. Bob Myers in the ball game. So we have Mathias at fullback now for Stanford. Bob Myers is playing halfback. He's the boy from Van Nuys. He's going out on the wing right now, out on the flat. From the T formation, there's a pitch out to Bob Mathias. It's a wide swing around the right side. Mathias is cut back on the 45-yard line, make it the 44. As Larry Stevens came nicely in and crossed over to drop in there and make the grab on the 44-yard line. So that ball's moved back from the 39 to the 44. So there's a loss of 5 yards. On the far sideline, on the hash marker, or the inbounds marker from the far sideline, the ball is placed on the 44-yard line. Pulled down about 15 yards to go for Stanford. Sam Morley comes in at left end for Stanford, replacing Bill Storham. There is Krikorian fading back, throwing a long pass downfield and out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Intended for Sam Morley of San Marino. He's a sophomore. Larry Stevens had come over there along with him. Larry Stevens of Robinson, Illinois. He's a junior. Who's back defending. Now Dick Horn. 44-yard line. Dick Horn is apparently coming in to do the punting. It's 4th down and 15 yards to go for Stanford on the Illinois 44. There is Dick Horn going back in kick formation. He's a senior from Santa Monica. Standing back on the Stanford 42-yard line. Hands outstretched. The ball is snapped back by Garner. He boots the ball, angles it for the corner. And going back is Brusky, watching the ball bounce into the end zone. And, of course, first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois on their own 20. Up to the line of scrimmage they come. Tight team in the backfield right now. They may shift out of it. They do. Send the flanker out to the left this time. There is O'Connell, the Chicago boy, taking the ball, faking the pitch off, and then does handoff to Karras, who tries to come through the right side of the line. Moves down to the line of scrimmage and falls forward 1 yard after he's met by Kirkland and by Latham. So it's no gain actually on the play, so put the ball again on the 20-yard line, move its position over about 5 yards to the sideline across the way, and make it the second down coming up for Illinois, and still 10 yards to gain. Got about 13 and a half minutes left to play in the first half of the ball game. O'Connell calling the signals again behind the Illinois line. It's balanced. There's a hike to the left this time with a flanker going out to the left. The ball is taken and handed off this time to Karras. Wide sweep around the left hand. Karras up to the 25-yard line as he cracks back from his interference. Johnny Karras is met at the 25-yard line and dropped by Skip Christ and also by Bob Thompson in the defensive setup for Stanford in the 6-2-2-1 defense. That's Skip Christ backing up the left side of the line. And Aaron Sanders is playing defensive left halfback. The Illinois ball club comes out of the huddle up to the line of scrimmage. Sends a flanker out to the right this time. Ready for the ball to be snapped back to O'Connell. He gets it, fades back, hands the ball over this time to Pete Buckers. Buckers through the right side of the line as he follows a one-man interference. Cracks off tackle, but picks up just about 1 yard as the hole finally closes with Hokanson coming in there. Hokanson, rather. Well, let's say the ball is resting now on the 27-yard line. Move up to the 27-yard line where it'll be 4th down and about 2 yards to go. Ball on the 27-yard line in Illinois territory. They have about 2 yards to gain here, so they'll probably go back in kick formation. Let's see, it'll be Ken Miller. He's just come into the ball game. Ken Miller, the punter, sophomore. He's standing back on the Illinois 14-yard line. There is Sanders and Thompson in double safety for Stanford. They're back on the Stanford 30-yard line right now, spread across the field. We're ready now for the ball to be snapped back to Miller. It is snapped back to him. He gets the boot away. That's a nice one coming downfield. Starts to wobble a bit now. Bounces on the 40. Moves down to the 30-yard line. The ball is still rolling end over end and goes to a stop on the 23-yard line. Bob Mathias apparently is remaining in at fullback. No. Oh, is that right? Mathias at fullback? Yes, he is. He's in there at fullback. Now from the T formation, the ball is being handed off to Bob Mathias, who tries to crack over the right side. And he's stopped by Andy Wojciak and Marvin Berchet. Andy Wojciak and Marvin Berchet. Wojciak from Chicago, Berchet from Arlington Heights. So the play actually lost a yard for Stanford. It means that they're back on that 22-yard line with second down about 7 yards to gain. About 20 yards into the sideline across the way as they send a flanker out on that sideline in the T in the backfield. Krikorian takes the ball, fades back, shoots a pass across the line, scrimmage to Mathias on the 25. He's in the clear on the 30. Finally cut from behind and the side on the 34-yard line by Wojciak and dropped. Bob Mathias, who has been having trouble with his ankle recently, wasn't able to get away, despite the fact that the pass was completed to him, and he went nicely down to his own 34-yard line. It's still a first down and 10 yards to go for Stanford, down on the 34-yard line of Stanford. That was a gain now, about 12 yards on that one. So it's first and 10 for Stanford as the red and white team comes out up to the line of scrimmage on the 30. The ball equidistant between sidelines on their 34. Let's see, there's Krikorian fading back again, shoots a pass out in the front again, intended for Mathias, and it's over his fingertips untouched. Untouched. So the ball will be brought back again, placed at its original point on the 34-yard line, where it'll be second down coming up for the Stanford Indians, and they still have 10 yards to go. Let's see, defensively in that backfield, as we'd like to tell you who they are for Illinois, they're defending against passes. We have Herb Nethery at left halfback, Broski at safety, Stan Wallace at right halfback, and we have Borio and Popa backing up. There's a wide flanker out to the right for Stanford this time again. Krikorian fades back to his own 25, runs off to the sideline to the right to the 30, and he's being cut back on the 30-yard line. He couldn't find anyone to pass to as a red flag went down on the field. Down back on the 30-yard line for a loss of 4 yards. And let's see what the red flag is going to designate down on the field. Whether it will be against, it's a shoving penalty, apparently, and there's going to be a completion ruled on that last play, apparently, as Mathias was shoved out of the way as he was trying to receive the forward pass. So the ball will be placed down on the 41-yard line. On the 41-yard line of Stanford, where it will be second down coming up. Well, let's check that and make absolutely certain.
First and 10 now for Stanford on their own.
Now we're ready to go. First and 10 for Stanford on their own 46. Krikorian hands the ball off to Hugasian through the left side on the handoff play. He pounds up to the 47-yard line to the 48, twists and goes over the 15, finally drops down on the 49-yard line for a pickup of 5 yards. So it'll mean second down coming up now. Second down, 5 yards to go for Stanford on the Illinois 49-yard line. The ball is about 15 yards in from the sideline across the way. It is 7-6, Stanford over Illinois. Wide flanker out to the right this time. That's Ron Cook. Gregorian takes the ball, fades back. Gary's about ready to shoot it. Downfield it comes. It's completed to Mathias on the 40-yard line of Illinois. He's down to the 30, to the 25, to the 20, and hit and dropped at the 20. Hit and dropped at the 20-yard line. Mathias taking the pass. So that ball goes from the 49-yard line down to the 20-yard line for a pickup of 29 yards, and it's first down at 10 yards to go for Stanford. And it was figured before this ball game started that Stanford likely would take to the air, and they've been taking to the air here this afternoon. The ball is resting on the 20-yard line. First down and 10 yards to go. Double flanker this time. There's Krikorian coming back ready to shoot a pass, and he finds no one to pass to as the red flag goes down on the field. He drives himself down to the 16-yard line and has finally hit the stop down there by Larry Stevens. But our red flag has gone down on the field, and we'll have to wait for the moment to see whether it's going to be Stanford or Illinois to draw the penalty. We're having a substitute in the line for Illinois. That's going to be Cliff Waldbeezer coming in for Stanford. He's the Van Nye Jr. He's replacing Harry Hugasian. He himself goes out on the flank this time. In the T formation, Krikorian takes the ball, swings wide, spikes himself, and is being funneled behind the line of scrimmage and finally hit and dropped on the 26-yard line in Illinois territory for actually a loss of a yard. It was Bob Lenzini coming in there with Chuck Borio making the stop for Illinois. Bob Lenzini, the North Chicago sophomore, playing defensive left guard for Illinois, and Chuck Borio, Kincaid, backing up the right side. He's a senior at 190 pounds. So in the six-man line, a 6-2-2-1 defense. Those are the two men that operated on that one. So it's second down coming up and 16 yards to go for Stanford as they send two flankers out, one to the right and one to the left. The T in the backfield has Krikorian coming back, trying to throw a long pass downfield. He holds it himself and explodes right down the middle, running through the 20-yard line, fumbles the ball, and it's recovered on the 21-yard line by Stanford, I believe. Cliff Waldbeezer was in on that play. The ball was fumbled on the 25-yard line, rolled forward to the Illinois 21, and it was Ron Cook. Ron Cook came in to recover for Stanford on the 21-yard line. So that's one way to dribble up 5 yards. So it's only 3 and 11 now, third down and 11 yards to go. So actually Stanford, I guess, was using 11 men and 2 pups. So we're ready to go here now with third down and 11. Third and 11 for Stanford, moving down to the 21-yard line in Illinois territory. Third and 11 for Stanford, wide flanker out to the right this time. McCall is put way wide at right end. Krikorian takes the ball. The quarterback looks for McCall. There's a long pass going way down deep, and it's knocked down. It's knocked down by Herb Nethery. Down on the 8-yard line, the far sideline down in the corner. Herb Nethery knocked that one down. It was intended for Bob Mathias. So an incompleted forward pass has Stanford in possession of the ball on the Illinois 21, 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. They have fourth down and 11 yards to go, and with 8 minutes and 42 seconds left to play in the second period, the score stands 7-6 in favor of Stanford over. Looks as though we're going to have a field goal try. It'll be Gary Krikorian. Gary Krikorian with Hugasian holding the ball. He'll try to kick this one from the 28-yard line in Illinois territory. There's the snap. There's a kick by Krikorian. Is it good or isn't it? It is short. It is short. So the score still remains Stanford 7 and Illinois 6, 7-6. So the ball will be brought out now, placed on the 20-yard line. Illinois in possession, first down and 10 yards to go. So the teams are coming in. Get ready for this one. And by the way, men, let's see if Illinois can get going here. Stanford leads it by a point, 7-6. Tom McConlin, their quarterback, has a tight T in the backfield this time. Switches ends wide, sends a man out in the flank. That's Karras. From the 20-yard line in Illinois territory, O'Connell takes the ball, feeds it off this time to Rutgers through the left side of the line as he disengages himself from his interference, cracks from the 20 up to the 25, spins as he's hit, and dropped to the 26-yard line by Chuck Gasigian, who is backing up the right side of the Stanford line. He was helped by safety man Don Sanders. So the ball comes from the 20-yard line up to make it the 26-yard line for a gain of 6 yards, makes it second coming up. And about 3.5 yards to go. Illinois operating from the T, sends a flanker out to the left this time. That's Pete Karras. There is the quarterback, O'Connell, handing off to take fullback, who pounds through the left side of the line up to the 30 and hit and dropped on the 31 by Skip Christ. Skip Christ from Palo Alto. He's a junior at 190 pounds, backing up the line. So the ball is moved up to the 31-yard line for a first down for Illinois. The ball is equidistant between sideline on the Illinois 31-yard line. I'd say right now that coming over the Sierra Madre Mountains here, a little bit of haze. And first down, 10 yards to go for Illinois in their own 31, equidistant between sidelines. Right end comes out wide. That's Rex Smith. Wide flank back off to the right this time. It is the quarterback coming back, throwing a jump pass to Bacars. He's racing down the sideline on the far side of the 40, and finally slips and falls on his own 45-yard line, running into his own interference. on the 45-yard line. One of those little screen passes, just swooped over the head of the onrushing defenders, and it was completed. To beat Baccharis. I'll spell his name again for you. B-A-C-H-A-U-R-O-S. He's a junior from Chicago. Baccharis. We've had 3 or 4 pronunciations of his name. Baccharis taking the completed forward pass down to the Illinois 45-yard line. So that means a gain of 13 yards on the play and a first down for Illinois. Ball is 15 yards into the sideline across the ways again. The wide flanker comes out to the right as Rex Smith, the right end, splits wide and comes over also. There is the quarterback, O'Connell, fading back again. He's another one of those little passes. Get it, of course, on the receiving end. He's down to the 50-yard line and hit it to 50, knocked right back to the 49-yard line. And I mean, he was hit by a Seagian, the defensive right linebacker. So the ball is moved down now to make it the 49-yard line. So actually it's good for 4 yards on the play. 4 yards on the play, and time is being taken out by Stanford as the ball rests on the Illinois 49-yard line with 6 minutes and 23 seconds left to play in the ball game, with second down coming up for Illinois. 4 men, Pete Baccharis, and he has really snagged those 2 little looping passes to very good advantage. 15 yards into the sideline on this side of the field. Illinois goes into the tee, sends a flanker out to the left. O'Connell calls his signals. The ball is snapped back to O'Connell, and he fakes a handoff, finally gives it to Karras. There's a wide sweeper on the left side. The All-American drives down to the 40-yard line. It's hit at the 40-yard line in Stanford territory and picks up 2 more as he moves to the 38 with Hokinson hanging on with Bob Thompson to bring down Johnny Karras. And it's another first down for Illinois on the 38-yard line in the territory of Stanford. Good for a 13-yard pickup that time on the part of Johnny Karras. The ball is about 20 yards in the sideline across the way. Bobby O'Connell called his signals now with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the first half. Sends a flanker out to the right this time on the T formation. Ends are in close. The ball is given this time to Baccharis. He's through the right side of the line, cracks his tackle, moves over to the 34-yard line. Is hit by Chuck Asigian, backing up the line for Stanford, and dropped after he picks up 1 more yard down to the 32. Jack Rye of Los Angeles, a senior, 200 pounds, playing defensive left end, rolled under there to make the stop. Also, the ball is on the make it 33-yard line. Ball on the 33-yard line for a pickup that time of 5 yards exactly. Makes it 2nd and 5. Coming up for Illinois on the Stanford 33-yard line. They're 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field as O'Connell hauls his backfield in tight, then sends his end Rex Smith out wide as he pulls his flanker over to the right. Takes the ball, fades back to the 40-yard line, shoots a spot pass right across the line of scrimmage. That's almost caught by Rex Smith on the Stanford 18-yard line. Skip Christ almost had his hands on it when Rex Smith had it bounce off his chest, but it goes as an incompleted forward pass and will be brought back to the 33-yard line, where it will be third down coming up for Illinois. They'll still have 5 yards to gain down in on the Stanford 33. It's still 7-6 in favor of Stanford over University of Illinois. And this is the 38th Rose Bowl game being sent your way over NBC from Pasadena. Tight T in the backfield. Let's see if they shift. They do this time. It is Baccharis who is the flanker out to the left. The ball is being handed off to the fullback, Tate. He's through the left side of the line, drives through the 20-yard line, and carries 2 men with him down to the Stanford 22. Finally, Don Sanders, the safety man, had to come up and haul Bill Tate down. That's a first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois on the Stanford 22-yard line. A pickup that time of 11 yards. Down on the 22-yard Stanford line. Stanford still using a 6-2-2-1 defense with 4 minutes and a half left to play in the first half. There's a tight T. Off to a flanker over to the right this time, does Illinois behind the balance line. The end is split wide. There is a fake handoff, then finally it's Baccharis who takes the ball on the direct handoff and bucks into the 20-yard line with Latham, King, Chris, and Cole all making the stop for Stanford. Ball is moved right down to the 20-yard line for a 2-yard pickup. Right down to the 2 for a 2-yard pickup. Makes it second down coming up for Illinois. 8 yards to go in this series of downs. Ball is equidistant between sidelines. On the Stanford 20-yard motions that the clock is to continue running. It does now. The ball is on the 20-yard line. Second down and 8 for Illinois as they are about ready to come out of their huddle once again. Asigian calling the signals for the Stanford defense as his team move into a 6-2-3 defense, actually. There's a hike out to the left by the Illinois left end. There is the quarterback coming back to throw a forward pass, and he's thrown under and knocked down as he tries to get his pass away. Back on the 34-yard line. It was Roy Eady of Berkeley, the right end, who came back in there, knocked him down just as Tom O'Connell was starting to get the pass away. So it's Ron Eady coming in to knock the passer down. It goes as an incompleted forward pass, and the ball is being taken back to the 20-yard line in Stanford territory, where it'll be 3rd and 8. 3rd down and 8 yards to go for Illinois. The ball is equidistant between the sidelines on the 20-yard line. Up to the line of scrimmage. On the balance line goes O'Connell to call his signals on a tight tee. Sends his flanker over to the left as he splits his left end wide. O'Connell ready to take the ball. He does. Fades back to the Stanford 28-yard line. Can't find anyone. Then throws into the end zone over the fingertips of Joe Bernasco in the end zone. Joe Bernasco almost had that one in the end zone, but couldn't quite hold on to it. So it'll be 4th down and 8 coming up for Illinois on the Stanford 20-yard line. Well, we still have 3 minutes and 33 seconds left to play in this ball game in the first half. And I tell you, when Braven Dyer told us originally that we could expect a thriller here this afternoon, he wasn't kidding. Sam Rebecca has come into the ball game for Illinois, and that can mean only one thing, that the Illini, he's right in front of the goalpost. He may or may not be able to make it. Right now it is Stanford 7, Illinois 6. We're waiting for the snap to come back from Dan Sabino. Here it comes. It's placed by Ingles, kicked by Rebecca, and it is no good. It's off wide to the right. It is no good. The score remains Stanford 7 at the University of Illinois 6. 7-6. The ball is being brought out to the 20-yard line now, given to the Stanford Indian. It will be 1st down and 10 yards to go for Stanford from their own 20-yard line. And now, along with Irv Gustafson here, let's check that backfield. Let's see, that's Kekorian back at quarterback, isn't it, Irv? Yeah. Let's see, Kekorian. Bob Mathias has come in at fullback now, and we have Ron Cook at right halfback, who has gone off to the flank. And just as we line up, we have a substitute coming into the ball game, Don Tate. Don Tate. There's a wide flanker going out to the right this time on 1st and 10 on the 20 for Stanford, and the handoff this time goes to Harry Hugazian, who is through the left side of the line and bucks his way up to about the 23, where he's stopped by Chuck Borio, and Papa backing up the left side. That's Popa backing up the left side of the line. Let's see, the ball is being placed down on the 24-yard line for a pickup of 4 yards. So in the forward defensive wall, we have Wojciak, Berchet, and Ernst, Don Tate, and Larry Stevens for Illinois. There's Kekorian backing up to shoot a forward pass. He's being stopped. He's being caught back and fumbles the ball on his own 15-yard line, and I believe Illinois has recovered it. And they will have possession of that ball if the whistle did not blow before the fumble occurred. So let's see. The ball is being placed on the 15-yard line and given to Stanford because the whistle had blown before Kekorian fumbled the ball. The play was Marvin Berchet and Don Tate. The two tackles converging, moving in there fast. The push back and the stop, so it's 3rd down and 15 yards to go now for Stanford. Back on their own 15-yard line. There goes Ron Cook out on the flank on the left side this time as Kekorian takes the ball. Gary fading back to the 5, being chased. He runs to the right and fires forward pass, and he's knocked down by Joe Bernasco and Chuck Borio, both coming in. That was intended for Sam Morley, the left end of Stanford, and the pass was almost intercepted. Chuck Borio is the fellow who had his fingers on it. Joe Bernasco was the man I thought for the moment who had gotten in there, but it was Chuck Borio. Chuck Borio, we have about 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to play as Dick Horn comes into the ball game for Stanford. Dick Horn, the punter. Gary Kekorian, the passer. Let's see who goes back in kick formation. It is Dick Horn to stand back on the Stanford 3-yard line and go into safety position is Herb Nethery and Alfred Broski for Illinois. There's the ball back. It's a bad pass from center. He picks it up, gets a kick away. It's a nice one coming downfield anyway, and it's taken on the 45-yard line by Herb Nethery. He fights his way back to the 50-yard line, just short of the 50-yard line. With 2 minutes left to play here in the first half of the ball game, with Stanford out in front over Illinois, 7-6. Now let's see. It's 1st down and 10 yards to go for Illinois. With that ball on the 49-yard line in Illinois territory. On the 49-yard line. The ball equidistant between sidelines. Call the signals for Illinois. Sends the flanker out to the right this time. Splits his end. Rex Smith way out wide to the right. Sends his left end out. We're ready for the ball to be snapped back now to quarterback O'Connelly. Takes the ball, fades back. He's looking for someone to pass to. Shoots it downfield. There's a completion over on the 40-yard line. And it's Bucklers who snaps his way over to the 35-yard line on the far sideline as the Seagen finally stops him on the Stanford 34. So there's a move down to the 34-yard line in Stanford territory. So that means that it's a gain of 17 yards on the 34-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go for Illinois on the Stanford 34. Send a tight team to the backfield this time behind the balanced line. There is a fake handoff. It is O'Connell fading way back. Shooting a pass downfield. This time to Bernasco on the 30-yard line. He's hit and dropped immediately by Skip Chris. So there's a pickup from the 34 to the 30-yard line. Right, 34. That means it's second down coming up. Right down to the 30-yard line. That's where the ball is resting. 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. 1 minute left to play in the first half of this ball game. The 30th Rose Bowl game in Pasadena, California. 2nd and 7 coming up for Illinois. Out wide to the left. There's a flanker to the left. That's Bucklers. The ball is taken by O'Connelly. Fades back. Shoots a long pass way downfield. There. Goal line. He dropped. Oh, Joe Bernasco from Mishawaka, Indiana. Drops the ball on the goal line. Going back there with him was Bob Thompson.
The clock is stopped at 44 seconds.
That was quite a forward pass. That would have been 30-yarder. Right down to the goal line. So the ball is being brought back now to the 30-yard line in Stanford territory. In possession of the score is still 7-6. Stanford over the University of Illinois. They come out of the huddle on 3rd and 7 up to the Stanford 30-yard line with about 45 seconds left to play. They send a flanker out to the right this time with O'Connell calling the signals for Illinois. Takes the ball, fades back. He's looking for someone to pass to, gets protection. Fires one that is knocked down at the 15-yard line. Knocked down at the 15-yard line by Don Sanders, the safety man. The ball was intended for Rex Smith that time. But Don Sanders had that one diagnosed correctly. We have about 39 seconds left to play in the first half of the ball game. Score is 7-6 in favor of Stanford over Illinois. We've had a dandy here so far in the first half. Wouldn't have missed this one for the world. Glad we didn't have to miss it. Let's see, the ball 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. About 39 to 40 seconds left to play as Illinois sends a flanker out to the right this time on the tee. O'Connell calls his signals, fades back. He's going to try another forward pass, fades on back to the 40. Spots one across the line of scrimmage that is knocked down again by Sanders. Don Sanders, the safety man, knocking it down. So that was 4th down and 7. That means that Stanford takes over on their own 30. So it's first down and 10 yards to go for the Stanford Indians on their own 30-yard line. They are leading here with 32 seconds left to play in the first half of the ball game. The score is 7-6. Reverend Dyer will be talking plenty about it at halftime. I know it. As he's over there, well, his pencil's writing just about as fast as anybody as you ever saw. There's Stanford sending a flanker out to the right this time on 1st and 10 on their own 30. It's Kokorin handing the ball off to fullback Mathias, and he tries into the center of the line on the delayed line buck and gets nowhere with Marvin Verche making the stop for Illinois. So we have about 22 seconds left to play. There's 20 seconds left to play. 18 now. The seconds are ticking away here in the first half of this ball game. About 12 seconds left to play. Stanford still back in the huddle. They lead 7-6. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. They come out up to the line of scrimmage. Send a flanker out to the left this time. There is Kokorin fading back with 2 seconds left to play. 1 second. He's being bottled. Gets a pass away. There's McCall leaping high in the air. And the ball is intercepted by Broski. The sideline coming back to the 20-yard line, to the 15-yard line. Hit and dropped on the Stanford 15-yard line. Broski on an interception. Almost got away as the clock ran out here in the first half. Bob Mathias finally caught Broski and saved the touchdown. So at the end of the first half, it is still Stanford 7 and the University of Illinois 6. And we have had quite a first half here at Pasadena. Well, everybody, I said a minute ago, we've had a tremendous first half. A lot of people have been jumping right up from the seats. And I said a few minutes ago that he was chewing at his hat brim, and I wasn't kidding. This guy, Braven Dyer, has been seeing a game that he has so far predicted. Braven, how about this first half, buddy?
Al, you take a little breather there. You've been working just about as hard as those players out on the field. And the score is Stanford 7, Illinois 6, in a tremendous game in which Illinois scored first, missed the conversion, and then Stanford scored, and Gary Krikorian kicked the conversion, making the score 7-6. That all happened in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, each team tried a field goal. Krikorian first from the 28, it was short, and then Rebecca from the 27, and it was wide to the right. So that's the way she stands, 7-6, and we have some prominent sports figures here to talk to you at halftime and tell you what they think of this game. First of all is that very famous and wonderful sports writer from New York, known all over the world, Grantland Rice. Granny, how do you see the game thus far?
Brilliant, Braven. I think this is really one of the most brilliant first halves that I've seen anyway. I mean, each using his own type of play. The Illinois attack was a beautiful running attack. Didn't you think so?
Yes, it is.
And I think Stanford's passing attack is one of the finest things I've seen, especially McCall handling two plays almost impossible.
Can you look into your crystal ball and see anything for this half other than more thrills? Any particular prediction?
I don't believe the old Delphic Oracle I used to know very well could pick this game the way it's going. Anybody can win it.
Well, I'd agree with you on that, and we're very happy to have you out here, Granny, and we hope you'll be back time and time again to see the Rose Bowl game.
Thank you, Braven. It's always nice to come back just to see you, I'll tell you that, but this game today is really worth seeing, because this is a very fine football game.
But no prediction on the second half.
No, I couldn't make it, Braven.
All right, thank you, Grantland Rice. Granny has seen a great number of the Rose Bowl games, and he writes some very wonderful articles about football and all other sports. I know of no finer man in sports writing today than Grantland Rice. Now we're about ready to go for the second half, and here's Al Helfer back from a little refresher to take over for you. Come in, Al.
All right, Braven. All ready to go here in the second half. We'll have that kickoff in just a moment. Let's check the lineups for you for the start of the second half. It will be the same ball clubs starting the ball game originally. We'll have reading left to right offensively for Illinois. Verdasco, Ulrich, Studley, Sabino, Gnetovic, Jenkins, and Smith in the line. In the backfield will be O'Connell at quarterback, Pete Bucharus at left halfback. At right halfback, Johnny Karras, and the fullback will be Bill Tate. For Stanford, they'll have their offensive team in there, too, of Sam Morley at left end, Vick at left tackle, Manoogian at left guard, Garner at center, Bonetti at right guard, Broderick is the right tackle, and McCall at right end. And we might say that this boy McCall has been playing some terrific football here this afternoon so far. The fullback will be Bob Mathias, Krikorian will be at quarter, Hugazian will be at left halfback, and Ron Cook will be at right halfback. And now we're ready for the kickoff. Rudy Valentino to kick off for Illinois. He moves forward, boots from the 40. The ball comes downfield and is taken down at the 25-yard line, back to the 30, to the 34-yard line before the ball carrier is dropped. That ball carrier was Skip Christ, incidentally. Skip Christ down to the 30, make it 5-yard line, where it's first down and 10 yards to go. For Stanford on their own 35. They open the second half here by defending the goal to our right, which is the southern goal. On the flank to the right this time. There comes the handoff. This time to the halfback. That's Cook. Ron Cook pounding into the left side of the line. Gets over the 30 up to about the... gets up over the 30 as he's cut behind the line of scrimmage and dropped back on about the 32. So that makes it second down coming up. Second down coming up now for Stanford. The ball is equidistant between sidelines on their own 32-yard line. Have about 13 yards to gain. The ball equidistant between sidelines. There's a tight tee in the backfield this time for Stanford. Handoff very quickly over to the left halfback, Harry Hugazian, who pounds through the left side of the line, gets back to the 35, stopped by Popa, backing up the left side of the line for Illinois. Just short of the 35-yard line in Stanford territory. It's still a 7-6 ball game in favor of Stanford as we have opened the third period here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Out of the huddle up to the line of scrimmage comes Garner to set the offense. There's a flanker, this time out to the left with the end McCall split wide to the right. Krikorian takes the ball and fires one out into the flat, this time intended for Bob Myers, the fullback, and he drops the ball on the 30-yard line in Stanford territory. Incompleted forward pass. So that'll mean fourth down coming up for Stanford, and they're on their own 35-yard line. Fourth down and 10 yards to go. The ball is about 25 yards out from this sideline on this side of the field. Dick Horn in to kick now for Stanford. Dick Horn, a senior from Santa Monica, 190-pounder, kicks right-footed. Standing on the 21-yard line in Stanford territory. Broski's back in safety for Illinois. There's a nice kick coming downfield. It's a high one. Broski waiting for it on the Illinois 22, takes it, comes back to the 25, and is hit at the 25, spins over, and gets down to the 27-yard line. So it's first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois on their own 27-yard line. And here it has gotten so dark, the clouds coming over the Sierra Madre Mountains, that the lights have been turned on the far side of the field. They've been turned on, but there's plenty of sunshine on the far side. It's on this side of the field we're having just a little bit of trouble being able to see. We have a Steel Bowl final for you. We'll give it to you in a moment. There's a flanker going out to the right on T formation, first and 10 Illinois on their own 27. The ball being handled by Connell, hands it over to his fullback Tate, who comes through the left side of the line over the 30, moves up to about the 34-yard line before he's stopped by Cone and also by Skip Christ, who comes in there very quick. Here's the Steel Bowl final, Birmingham, Alabama. Bookman, South Carolina, 17, and Texas College, 13. Now we're ready to go. It's second down and 4 yards to go for Illinois. They send a flanker out to the left this time on their own 34-yard line. O'Connell, the Chicago boy, handles the ball, gives it over to his fullback Tate, who comes through the left side of the line, moves up to about the 37-yard line before he is hit and dropped by Esigian, backing up the right side of the Stanford line. Both ball clubs are using a 6-2-2-1 defense. It's pretty close. It might necessitate a measurement there. Yep, they're going to measure for a first down, see whether or not Illinois has made it. It is a first down for Illinois. The ball is resting on their 37-yard line. On the 37-yard line of Illinois, the ball about 20 yards in from the sideline across the way. First and 10 for Illinois. It's a 7-6 ball game in favor of Stanford over Illinois. O'Connell, this time, has a tight T in the backfield, moves his right end, Smith out to the right, sends a flanker to the right on his signal call, and hands his ball off to Bucharest, who comes through the left side of the line, cracks over between center and guard, moves up to his own 44-yard line where Skip Christ makes the stop along with Chuck Esigian for Stanford, the two linebackers converging to make the stop. Ball on the 44-yard line, so that means that they have moved that ball up to a 6-yard gain on that play. This boy Bucharest has really been running. Pete Bucharest. A T formation in the backfield. Again, it's a flanker out to the right. O'Connell ready to take the ball. He does, and hands it off this time to Bucharest on a come around. Without interference, he drives up to his own 45, swings wide at right end, and moves up to his own 47-yard line before Dick Horn, the safety man, comes up to make the stop, along with Skip Christ, who trailed along behind the line of scrimmage and dived in from behind. It might be enough for a first down for Illinois on their own 47. And the headlinesman, Paul Goebel, is coming in with the chain to turn it over to Raleigh Barnum, the official, to see whether or not it is enough for a first down. And it is enough by about 6 inches for a first down for Illinois on their own 47-yard line. Let's see, move it up to the 48-yard line. Make that the 48-yard line to be nearer correct. The ball is 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. It's first down, 10 yards to go for Illinois on their own 48-yard line. Tight T in the backfield this time. There's a flanker going out to the left. There's the left end. Verdasco splits wide. The ball comes back and is handed off to Tate, the fullback, and he seeks along the line of scrimmage, cracks in over his own left tackle, gets about 2 yards before he is stopped by Ron Eady and Bob Latham. Latham, a defensive tackle from California here, and Ron Eady from Berkeley. The ball is resting on the 48-yard line for a 2-yard plus 2, make it a 4-yard pickup. Second and about 6 now for Illinois on the Stanford 48. The ball is equidistant between sidelines. 7-6 in favor of Stanford over Illinois. There is a flanker moving out to the left this time. A man in motion. To the right, that's Tate. The ball is taken by quarterback O'Connell. Fades back, a quick spot pass, across the line of scrimmage. Is completed to Rex Smith down on the Stanford 36-yard line, where he's hit and dropped immediately by Chuck Kosigian. Rex Smith, the Chicago boy, junior at 195 pounds, completing that one. The ball resting now on the 36-yard line for a pickup of exactly 12 yards on the pass. First down. And 10 yards to go for Illinois on the Stanford 36-yard line. The ball 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. The flanker goes out to the left as the left end Vanasco splits wide. O'Connell up tight under center, takes the ball, hands it over to Tate. There's a pound through the right side of the line. He's still on his feet, moving down to the 20-yard line, and tripped at the 20-yard line, and down he goes on the 19. Bob Thompson, defensive right halfback, along with Don Sanders, making the stop for Stanford. There is a first down for Illinois, down on the Stanford, make it the 19-yard line. On the 19 for a pickup that time of 17 yards right through the line of scrimmage. On the 19-yard line, 20 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. Score 7-6 in favor of the Stanford Indian over the Fighting Illini as we are into the second half of the ball game. A wide flanker out to the right this time. A man in motion over to the right is Bill Tate. The ball is taken and handed off as the red flag goes down on the field. Butler is battering into the line on the right side. And we'll see who is going to draw the penalty on this one. The play was stopped actually on the 17-yard line by Chuck Kosigian and Skip Christ of Stanford as a substitute comes in for Stanford. And it looks as though Illinois is being given the opportunity of saying yes or no, we will or will not take a penalty. And there is a penalty against Stanford of being offside 5 yards, which moves the ball down. Moves the ball down to the make it 14-yard line as Ted Tanner comes in replacing Skip Christus, left linebacker for Stanford. So the ball is resting now on the 14-yard line in Stanford territory, in possession of Illinois, 1st and 5. There's a flanker out to the left as Vanasco goes wide at left end. The ball is handed over to the fullback Tate. He spins, drives his way through the middle of the line, finally winds up on the 3-yard line. On about the 3-yard line, coming right through the middle of the line, and Bob Latham finally dragged him down, hit him from behind. That was Tate, spinning and driving, fighting his way through the middle of the line, moving down to the 3. And a red flag has gone down on the field. It looks as though we may have a penalty being inflicted against Illinois. There it is for unnecessary roughness. 15 yards from the original point, which is the 14-yard line, moves it back to the 29-yard line. Back to the 29-yard line in Stanford territory, where the upcoming down will be the first, and there'll be 20 to gain. So time is being taken out now by Stanford University. Illinois was down there rapping on the front door. Skip Christ is apparently coming in the ball game, replacing Ted Tanner at left linebacker. But fans, I'd just like to say this: no wonder Gillette razors far outsell all other makes combined straight across the country. Gillette razors make shaving quicker, easier, and a lot more comfortable. Also, they're double-edged for double economy and save you money. Now, for example, the Gillette Super Speed Razor changes blades instantly, cleans instantly, and gives the best-looking, most refreshing shaves possible. This precision-made one-piece razor can't jam, can't claw. There's nothing to take apart or put together. What's more, the Gillette Super Speed Razor is the biggest shaving bargain ever offered. You get it plus a 10-blade Gillette dispenser and a newly designed styrene travel case that springs open at a touch for only $1. Yes, sir, folks, here's an actual $1.75 value for just $1. Down on the field, I should say in the stands, there's a lot of activity amongst the undergraduates. And as the teams go back into position now to get started with the play here, Illinois comes up to the line of scrimmage to the Stanford 29 with first down and 20 yards to gain. 15 yards from the sideline on this side of the field. Flanker out to the left this time. O'Connell takes the ball, hands off this time to Karras, who swings right at the left side, tries to crack over between his own left end and left tackle, and is caught by Jess Cole, the guard, defensive right guard of Stanford, caught at the make it 28-yard line for a pickup of about 1 yard. So it'll be second down coming up at 19 yards to gain. The ball is equidistant, however, between the sidelines. Here with 8 minutes and 59 seconds left to play in the third period. The score stands 7-6 in favor of Stanford over Illinois. There is a flanker out to the left this time. He's called back as the ends of tackle both split wide. And there's a quick handoff to fullback Tate, who comes through the left side of the line, moves up to the 25 before Cole again makes the stop. It was Cole and Cook both in there. So the ball is on the 25-yard line for a pickup of 3 that time by fullback Tate of Illinois. Makes it 3rd down and 16 yards to gain. 3rd and 16 for the Illini. The ball still equidistant between sidelines, and they're apparently running it this way to give Sam Rebecca an opportunity should someone get down close enough. There's a widespread formation, this time with O'Connell standing deep on the Stanford 35-yard line. The ball comes back to him. He's looking his field over, spots the pass across the line of scrimmage. That is batted by one man and finally intercepted by Jack Rye, left end defensively for Stanford. He intercepts the ball on the 21-yard line and is hit and dropped immediately. That ball was intended for Pete Baccaris. He did not get the ball, but did make the tackle. So the ball is in possession now of Stanford on their own 21-yard line. Let's make that. On the 21-yard line. 1st down and 10 yards to go on the interception by Jack Rye, the Los Angeles senior. Up to the line of scrimmage now comes the Stanford Indians. Sends the flanker out wide to the right this time on 1st and 10 on their own 21. There's a handoff very quickly to the right halfback, Ron Cook. He's through the right side of the line, bucks the 25-yard line, and hits and drops right in there at the 25. So he picks up about 4 on the play as he goes down and is hit hard, about 20 yards in the sideline on the side of the field. Popa, P-O-P-A, making the stop along with Chuck Borio, backing up the line for Illinois. The ball is just nose in on the 25-yard line. There's another wide flanker going out to the right with 2nd and 6 coming up for Stanford. T in the backfield as Gregory Carian takes the ball, fades back, shoots a long pass across the line of scrimmage on the 30-yard line. It's completed to Ron Cook, and he's knocked out of bounds immediately on his own 31. Herb Nethery, defensive left halfback of Illinois, went over there to push the man out of bounds on the 31-yard line. So there's a pickup from the 25 to the 31 of 6. So it makes it now 2nd down coming up. Let's see, the ball is 15 yards into the sideline across the way. 2nd down, 6 yards to go for Stanford as they send a flanker out wide to the right, split the call wide out to the right end. There's a handoff in the backfield quickly to Hugazian. He tries the left side of the line and is hit at the 32 and hit hard by Popa, backing up the line, and he's helped by Borio. Popa from Canton, Ohio, and Borio from Kincaid. It's enough for 1st down, however, for Stanford. Enough for 1st down on the Stanford 32. So it's 1st and 10 Stanford on their own 32-yard line. Ball about 15 yards in from the sideline across the way, which is the eastern sideline. 6 minutes and about 50 seconds left to play in the 3rd period as the flanker, Ron Cook, comes out to the left this time. Krikorian takes the ball, face back, Gary fires the ball, it's completed, but then fumbled at the 40-yard line. It was Ron Cook who received it at the 40-yard line. Chuck Borio hit him so hard that the ball jumped out of his arms before the pass was ruled completed. So it's an incompleted forward pass, actually, and the ball being taken back to the 32-yard line in Stanford territory, placed about 20 yards into the sideline across the way, where the down coming up for Stanford will be their 2nd on 10 to gain. 2 and 10 for Stanford with 6 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the 3rd period. 7-6 favor of Stanford over Illinois. There's a flanker this time coming out to the left. Krikorian takes the ball. The quarterback fades back. He's looking for someone to pass to. Spots it across the line of scrimmage down to the 40-yard line. And it's completed at the 40-yard line to Harry Hugazian. He gets up to the 43. Is hit and knocked down by Stan Wallace, defensive right halfback, the sophomore from Hillsborough, Illinois, who's playing defensive right halfback for Illinois. So the ball is being walked back in on the 41-yard line. On the 41-yard line, where the official is taking the ball. And we're going to see whether or not it's enough for a 1st down for Stanford. The chain is being run across the field now for the measurement. It's being placed. It's stretched, and it is, let me see, 1, 2, 3. It is about 3 steps short of being a 1st down on the 41-yard Stanford line. So there was a pickup that time from the 32 to the 41 for 9. Makes it 3rd and about 1. 3rd and about 1 for Stanford on their own 41-yard line as they come out of the huddle up to the line of scrimmage. Sending a flanker this time out to the left. And Sam Morney is committed at 10 for Stanford, replacing Storum. Now we're ready to go. There is a handoff quickly in the backfield to the right halfback, Ron Cook. He piles through the right side of the line. Looks as though he's made it by plenty for a 1st down up to his own 44. He was stopped that time by Popa. Also helping on it was Bob Benzini, but it's enough for a 1st down for Stanford on their own 44-yard line. 1st and 10 Stanford on their own 44, 15 yards into the sideline on this side of the field, with 6 minutes and 15 seconds left to play in the 3rd period. 7-6 in favor of Stanford over Illinois. Tight T in the backfield this time. The ends are split wide. There's a handoff in the backfield, and a fake handoff in the backfield, and there's a forward pass being thrown by Krikorian way down on the far side to the 45-yard line. It's incomplete, intended for Ron Cook. In there very quickly was Borio along with Herb Nevery to make sure that the pass was not completed. So the second down comes up now with 10 yards still to gain by Stanford on their own 44-yard line. Back in the huddle they go, and we'll be coming up to the line of scrimmage to face that 6-2-2-1 defense being snapped up there by Ray Elliott's fighting Illini. There's a wide flanker going off to the right this time. That's Hugazian, the left halfback. Tight T in the backfield otherwise, and there's a balanced line. There goes Krikorian fading back. He's being rushed now, but gets past the last spot. Right across the line of scrimmage on the 50-yard line to Hugazian. He steps for a couple more as he runs into Illinois territory down to the 47-yard line. He's hit hard there by Al Broski coming up from the safety position. So it is short of a first down by about 1 yard. So make it the 47-yard line, as we have already stated. On the 47-yard line in Illinois territory, the ball is almost equidistant between sidelines as we look right straight down to our broadcasting booth. Don Tate comes in at defensive right tackle now for Illinois. Out goes Bob Waddell of Webster Groves, Missouri. In comes Don Tate, the freshman from Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Let's say we're having Andy Wojciak on the field down there talking now to the official. Stanford back in their huddle now, ready to come up to the line of scrimmage. The defensive captain for Illinois is Popa, the left linebacker. And while we have a few seconds here, we pause 10 seconds for station identification. Right back here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, where we have 5 minutes and 36 seconds left to play in the third period of the ball game, as Bill Storm of Beverly Hills, California, comes in at left end, replacing Sam Morley for Stanford. It is third down and about 2 yards to go. Stanford having the ball on the Illinois 47-yard line. It's not enough for a first down. Third and a yard, and we have number 86. That'll be Larry Stevens coming in that defense for University of Illinois. Now we're ready to go. Down on the field, huddling the Stanford Indians. Coming out of the ball game is number 87. That is Waldbieser. Now we're ready to go, and up to the line of scrimmage come the Indians. Tight T in the backfield this time, and a handoff very quickly to Ron Cook, the right halfback. He slips through the right side of the line, moves over to the 44-yard line in Illinois territory to make it a first down for Stanford. First down, 10 yards to go for Stanford on the Illinois 44-yard line. It was a pickup of just a pair of yards that time, but that was enough. Stanford coming up to the line of scrimmage once more, behind the balance line, Tight T in the backfield. Krikorian taking the ball, fakes one handoff, and then fades back with it himself. Throws a long pass downfield. It's intercepted by Illinois. And it's Stan Wallace chasing back to the Stanford 30-yard line, to the 25, to the 20. Hit and knocked out of bounds on about the 12-yard line. On about the 12-yard line. And the man who knocked him out of bounds was Manugian, the left guard, who chased the play all the way across. Stan Wallace intercepting a forward pass that was intended that time for Bill Storm, and puts Illinois in a very good position. Right down on the 12-yard line. He intercepted that ball back on his own 40-yard line, ran the ball down to the 12-yard line for a gain, or rather a run back of 48 yards. So it's first down, 10 yards to go for Illinois on the Stanford 12-yard line. Let's see, O'Connell up there to call his signals now. Has a Tight T in the backfield as he moves his flanker out to the left. Breaks that Tight T. Ready to take the ball, he does, and hands it off to Tate, the fullback, who cracks over the left side and drives down to about the 10. Bob Latham was in there to make the stop. Defensive tackle for Stanford. Tate was the one who ran the ball. We have 4 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the third period. The ball is resting on the 10-yard line for a 2-yard gain. Makes it second down, coming up at 8 yards to go. You have those glasses, will you, please, Al? Thank you very much. Let's see here what's happening in this Illinois backfield. It's going to be a tight T formation this time. Now they break out of it, go over into a flanker onto the left. There is O'Connell calling the signals, takes the ball, fades back, hands it to Karras, wide sweeper on the left side, a crack back off over the tackle, and he drives up to almost the 5-yard line. Bob Thompson, along with a Sejan in there to make the stop. The ball is being placed by the official, I believe, right at the 5-yard line. That's right. Bob Latham was also in on that play. There's a 5-yard pickup by Johnny Karras, the All-American halfback from Illinois. Third down and about 3 yards to gain. The ball rolls up to the 5-yard line in Stanford territory. Score 7-6 favors Stanford over Illinois. Now let's see what Tom O'Connell has that ball club doing behind the balance line. He switches in Rex Smith out wide to the right. Sends Buckers out as the flanker. He himself in the backfield handling the ball. Pitches back to his fullback Tate, who swings wide around the right side. Drives over for a touchdown. Well, Illinois has scored now, and the score stands 13-7, Illinois over Stanford. It was a pitch out and a wide swing around the right side by fullback Tate. He followed one-man interference, moved across the line of scrimmage, drove into the end zone, and Sam Rebecca now will try for the extra point with Engels to hold the ball. Now let's see. We're about to have that ball snapped back by Sabino. Now we're ready. Down, back it comes, down its place. There's the kick. It's good. It's good. And Illinois picks up another point. Illinois picking up another point. 13-7. Illinois over Stanford here with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the third period. Bang. There's something about the Rose Bowl game that sets it apart from other football classics. Yes, sir. And men, there's plenty about today's Gillette Blue Blade that sets it apart, completely apart from all other razor blades. For example, the Gillette Blue Blade has the sharpest, longest-lasting edges on earth. So naturally, it gives you the best-looking shaves of your life, and far more of them for your money. To save both time and bother, buy Gillette Blue Blades in the modern Gillette dispenser that zips them out unwrapped and has a built-in compartment for used blades. You pay nothing extra. Holding 20 blades, 40 shaving edges, the dispenser is 98 cents. Look sharp. Feel sharp. Be sharp. Use Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever hold. And there's a shot kickoff now by Illinois. Valentino kicks the ball down to the 5-yard line. It's picked up by Ron Cook. He's back to the 15 and to the 20. He's hit and knocked back to the about 18-yard line as he finally spins away and goes down on the 19, hit by Johnny Bauer, the Benton sophomore for Illinois. However, the official takes the ball and places it on the 19-yard line where it'll be first down and 10 yards to go for Stanford. The score, please remember, is Illinois 13 and Stanford 7. Here with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left to play in the third period of the ball game. And Sam Morley has come in at left end replacing Bill Storham for Stanford. We have another substitute coming onto the field too, and we'll have him for you in a moment. It's first down and 10 yards to go as Don Tobin comes in to replace Garner at center for Stanford. Don Tobin, T-O-B-I-N, from Honolulu. He's a senior, 215 pounds, big gangly guy. He's in at center. Now let's see, there's a flanker out wide to the right this time. That is Ron Cook. Zakarian takes the ball, fakes back, fakes as though he's going to pass, keeps it himself, runs the ball back to the 25. It's hit, spins, and drives over to his own about 28-yard line before he is hit and dropped by Popa, backing up the line for Illinois. So the ball is being placed on the 28-yard line in Stanford territory. That ball was moved up for a first down. I believe it could be enough for a first down. No, it's just short of a first down by about a yard. The ball is up on the 28-yard line. Right on the 28. There is a wide flanker out to the right this time. It's second down and 2 to go. Krikorian takes the ball. The quarterback of Stanford fades back to his own 20. It's a running jump pass. Plus the line of scrimmage. He goes to the 35-yard line. Popa comes in to break it up. It was intended for McCall. So the ball will be walked back once more to the Stanford 28-yard line, where it will be third down coming up for the Indians, and they'll still have 2 yards to go. The ball is 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field, resting on the Stanford 28. 13-7. Illinois over Stanford. Now let's see what happens down there. As the wide flanker goes out to the right, that's to the left, that's Ugazian. McCall, the big end, splits out wide to the right. Krikorian takes the ball. The quarterback fades back to his own 20, runs along his side, to his 20 to the sideline laterally and tries to step away, moving down to about the 28-yard line where the line of scrimmage actually was, then is hit on the far sideline by Andy Wojciak and picks up another yard as he moves forward to his own 29. So it may or may not be enough for a first down. We'll see in just a moment as the official places the ball. The ball is being set down, looked over, measured, and it's short by about a foot. Short by about a foot. So it is fourth down and about a foot to go for Stanford. The ball resting on their own, make it 29.5-yard line. They're not going to try to kick. They're going to try to run this one. There is the ball snapped back, handed off to Hugazian. He piles into the left side of the line as the red flag goes down on the field. Popa makes the stop for Illinois, and we have to wait until they unpile down there. Borio is on the bottom of that pile, too. Now we'll know in a few moments who is to draw the penalty, whether it's going to be Stanford or the University of Illinois. It apparently is Stanford drawing the penalty of 5 yards for being offside. Offside penalty against Stanford moves them back to their own 25-yard line. Dick Horn now comes into the Stanford backfield. Going back in double safety will be Al Brusky and Herb Nethery for Illinois to stand back on the Illinois 40-yard line. Dick Horn will stand on the Stanford about 11-yard line, 15 yards in the sideline across the way on 4th and 5. Ready for the ball to be snapped back by Tobin. Back it comes, a high pass, but he nails the ball, gets it away. It's a nice kick coming downfield. Bouncing on the Illinois 40-yard line. Is allowed to roll to the Illinois 35 and over to the 32-yard line on the far sideline, about 5 yards in where it rolls then. So down to the 32-yard line rolls the ball for a 40-yard kick and roll. So it is first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois on their own 32-yard line. 13-7 in favor of the Fighting Illini over the Stanford Indians here at the Rose Bowl game in Pasadena, California, being sent your way over the NBC network. Let's see here. The backfield is O'Connell, Baccaris, Tate, and Karras for Illinois, and they're in tight T formation right now. They send the flanker out to the left this time. That is Baccaris. O'Connell, the Chicago boy, calls the signals, hands the ball over to Tate, who spins his way through the middle of the line. Moves from the 32-yard line as he carries Christ along with him over to about the 34-yard line. Ball just short of the 35 for almost a 3-yard pickup. We'll call it a 3-yard pickup. Makes it third down. Or it's a second down and 7 yards to go. Ball resting on the 34.5-yard line. It's about there. It's almost on the 35. They send a flanker over to the left toward the sideline this time as O'Connell calls his signals once more. Takes the ball, runs along the line of scrimmage and hands the ball over to Johnny Karras, who comes pounding through the right side of the line, cracking off right tackle on a delayed line buck, moving it up to the 39-yard line with Skip Christ, again making the stop along with Hawkinson, the defensive left tackle for Stanford. The ball is right up on the 39-yard line, where it is third down coming up and about 3 yards to go for Illinois. The ball is equidistant between sidelines on the Illinois 39. Got about 27 seconds left to play in the third period of the ball game. Tight T in the backfield is cracked over this time to a flank back to the left. Once more, O'Connell gets his ball club in position, runs along the line of scrimmage, keeps the ball himself on an optional pitch-out play, and drives his way down to the 48-yard line. Moving right down to the 48-yard line from the 32. So that's a pretty good run there by that young fellow to the 48-yard line for 16 yards in the first down for Illinois. He was stopped finally by safety man Horn, or rather safety man Sanders. Sanders playing safety. He's a freshman from series. We've got just about a second or two, and there is the gun ending the third period of the ball game with the score standing Illinois 13 and Stanford 7. Well, there. You'll never know how smooth and refreshing shaving can be until you start using the Gillette Super Speed Razor. Believe me, this razor gives you shaves that are shaves. Every stroke is light and easy. There's no drag, no pull, no smart, no burn. You just skim the whiskers off, and when you're through, your face looks its best and feels great. The Gillette Super Speed is a one-piece razor of ingenious design and precision manufacture. It has nothing to take apart or put together. Twist, it's open, zip, it's loaded. Twist again, and you're ready to shave. Yes, it changes blades instantly, cleans instantly, and never jams or clogs. Buy a Gillette Super Speed Razor for only $1. It comes with a 10-blade Gillette dispenser and a handsome, serviceable styrene travel case that springs open at a touch. Now, let's see what Illinois is about to spring here on Stanford. There's a handoff in the Illinois backfield. Right quickly, compounding through the right side is Johnny Karras, and moves the ball up to about the 50-yard line. Right smack dab on the 50-yard line as he's stopped by Ron Eady. So it's a second down coming up now for Illinois. They've changed sides. And Illinois, of course, defending now the goal to our right, which is the Southern goal. The score is 13-7. We're in the fourth and final period of the Rose Bowl game here at Pasadena, California. Second and about 8 for Illinois as they send a man out to the left this time on the wide flank back. Split the left end wide. That's Finasco. O'Connell takes the ball and hands it over to Tate, who spins his way through the middle of the line and fights his way up to the Stanford 45. Running toward the sideline on this side of the field. He's dropped on the 45-yard line and hit pretty hard by Chuck Kasigian. Also Bob Latham in there to make the stop for Stanford. And from Mattoon, Illinois. Ball moving down to the 37 for just a pickup of about 3 yards. Makes it second down coming up and about 7 yards to go. Ball equidistant between sidelines on the Stanford 37-yard line with the tight T in the Illinois backfield being hiked out to the right this time on the right side. That puts a flanker out on the right. That's Karras. There is a delayed line butt coming through the line. It's tight, breaks out in the clear on the 30, and it's hit finally on the 25-yard line, but spins away from 2 men and flies down to the 21-yard line. Bill Tate, who has ripped through that Stanford line here this afternoon, has just ripped through it again and has moved down to the make it 22-yard line for a pickup of 15 yards on the play. A delayed line butt with Don Sanders finally making the stop for Stanford. Stanford safety man came up. So little time is being taken out down there right now by Stanford University. We've got about 12 minutes left to play in the fourth and final period of the ball game, and there'll be a couple of substitutions made. In a moment, Illinois and Stanford will be at it again. They've been at it all afternoon. Meantime, I'd like to point out that you can count on today's Gillette Blue Blade, product of skilled craftsmanship, matchless equipment, and 79 separate inspections to give you the best-looking, most comfortable shaves a man can have. Yes, that's for sure. So fans, ask for double-edged Gillette Blue Blades and the modern Gillette dispenser that deals them out unwrapped and has a built-in compartment for used blades. It makes blade changing a cinch and enables you to dispose of old blades safely and permanently. You pay just the price of the blades alone, 98 cents for 20, 49 cents for 10. Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. Use Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. Well, we've got quite a sharp ball game going on here right now. 38th annual Rose Bowl game at Pasadena. And Czar Calfee comes in. He's from Richmond. And Leon King also comes into the ball game at left tackle and left guard for Stanford University. The ball is resting on the Stanford 22-yard line, where it is first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois, who lead in this ball game 13-7 with 12 minutes left to play in the fourth and final period. As the shadows begin to fall over the Rose Bowl here under the Sierra Madre Mountains in California. There's a T in the backfield, of course, for Illinois. They send the flanker out to the right. That's Johnny Karras. Rex Smith, the right end, splits wide to the right. The ball is fed off this time to Buckus, who goes through the left side of the line, pounds from the 20 down to the 15-yard line. Hit at the 15 and dropped right there. Pete Blockeris, the junior from Chicago, and through the left side of the line, moving from the 22 down to the 15 for 7 yards. He's just short of the 15-yard line by about a foot. So it's actually second down and about 3 for Illinois. Second and 3 for Illinois. Let's see what they do this time. 15 yards from the sideline on this side of the field. They send the flanker over toward the sidelines, puts the end wide. There is a handoff to Tate as he comes through the left side of the line and bucks his way up to about the 11. Stopping the play that time was Asigian, Chuck Asigian. Also Ron Eady of Berkeley. This Asigian is from Los Angeles. Let's see, is that going to be enough for a first down? Yep. Right so. First down, 10 yards to go for the Fighting Illini on the 11-yard line of Stanford. O'Connell calling the signals down there in the huddle now. He'll have these boys up to the line of scrimmage in a moment. First down, 10 yards to go for Illinois on the Stanford 11-yard line. They lead 13-7 over Stanford. There is a flanker going out to the right this time. The end splits wide to the right. O'Connell ready to take the ball. Calling the signals, takes it, hands the ball off to Buckless, who's through the left side of the line. Cracks over the 10 down to about the 9 as he's hit and stopped very hard by Calfee, Justcone, and Cook, all converging in there to make the stop. The ball is being placed right now on the 9-yard line. So it's a pickup of 2, making it second and 8. Second down and 8 yards to go. 6 Second and 8 for Illinois on the Stanford 9-yard line. On the Stanford 9. 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. Let's see where they send their flanker, if they send a flanker this time. It's out to the left this time with Backless on the flank. The man in motion, Tate, over to the right. The ball is taken, pitched back. Johnny Karras has a wide sweep around the right side. Karras being bottled on the 10, fights and drives his way down to about the 7-yard line on the far sideline. He was knocked out of bounds by Jack Rye and by Skip Grist. The ball is being walked in now and placed on the 7-yard line. Being placed on the 7, so there's a pickup of a couple of yards only. I'll make third down coming up. Put the ball on the 7-yard line in Stanford territory, in possession of Illinois. Third down coming up, and there is about 6 yards to gain for a first down. And it looks as though a little time is being taken out down there by Stanford. The score is 13-7 in favor of Illinois over Stanford University here in the Rose Bowl at Pasadena, California. And one thing I'm very glad of, and I know Brave and Dyer is very glad of, and that is that those rain clouds went away and the sun came out to stay.
For you, as much as it's your first time out here, you know, Al, we want to have you see things as they generally are.
Oh, I see, Braven. Well, I don't think you have to sell me this fine state out here at all. I've really enjoyed it ever since I've been here, every minute of it. And it's quite a kick for a guy to come over from the East Coast, where I understand the weather has been very, very inclement, and walk out here where you can see flowers and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It kind of does something to you, Braven, just the way a good football game does something to you. The kind of a football game we're seeing down there right now. And the band across the way has struck up a little tune, so let's pick it up for you if we can. Well, that's the way it always happens. You go down the field, pick up a tune. The first thing you know, the conductor decides that he'd better stop everything and drops his baton. There you are. Well, let's see. Third down, 6 yards to go for Illinois on the Stanford 7-yard line, 15 yards into the sideline across the way. We go back into action here with a flanker coming out wide to the left. That's Backless as the end splits wide. There is the ball being handed to Karras, who swings wide around the left side. He's up to the 5. He's driving. He's over. Johnny Karras, the All-American right halfback from Illinois, taking a handoff from Tom O'Connell. Came sweeping wide around the left side of his own line, the right side of the Stanford line, drove over from the 7 for a 7-yard gallop, and a touchdown, making the score 19-7 in favor of Illinois. And Sam Rebecca will try for the extra point with Don Engels to hold the ball. 9 minutes and 51 seconds left to play in the fourth period. The ball is snapped, placed on the ground by Engels, kicked by Rebecca, and it is good. The score is 20-7 in favor of Illinois. With the score standing at 20-7, we are to have Rudy Valentino to kick off for Illinois. The ball on the 40-yard line in Illinois territory down to our right. Stanford going over the field to get in receiving position. We see that Bob Mathias is committed fullback to replace Myers. Ron Cook is right halfback. Harry Hukasian is left halfback, and Kukorian is the quarterback. 28-7 in favor of Illinois over Stanford here in the Rose Bowl game at Pasadena. Ready to go now with Valentino moving forward on the whistle, rooting that ball from the 40-yard line. A high end over end kick coming down to the 2-yard line. Mathias at the 2, running straight up the field to the 20-yard line. Is hit as he drives into the 25, and down he goes as his nose scrapes into the dirt. Bob Mathias coming back from the 2 to the 25 for a return of 23 yards. Mathias getting up now, going off the field. It's first down at 10 yards to go for Stanford on their own 25-yard line. Man making the stop that time was Waldbeater. So Stanford's ready to go here, first and 10 on their own 20. We have a couple of substitutions in the backfield for Stanford. We'll give them to you in a moment. The quarterback handing off to his left halfback this time. Harry Hukasian to the left side of the line. Picks up 2 is Don Tate, the freshman from Newcastle for Illinois. Makes the stop. So it's a pick up for 2 yards from the 20 to the 22. Here's the backfield now for Stanford. Bob Garrett at quarterback, a sophomore from San Marino. The left halfback is Harry Hukasian. Bob Myers is the fullback. And Wes Lobsher is in there at right halfback now. Lobsher goes out on the wing this time, or the flat. as the ball is being taken by Garrett, the quarterback, and he swings wide around the left side, trying to get off at left tackle, cracks back over and moves up to the 28-yard line with Larry Stevens meeting him there and dropping him on the 29-yard line in Stanford territory. So the ball is moved up from the 22 up to the 29-yard line. So the upcoming down is the third. There's still 6 yards to go. 6-2-1 defense is still being employed by Illinois. Here comes Hugezian out to the right side. He's the wing on the wing tee. Garrett takes the ball, fades back, goes a spot pass across the line of scrimmage. That is completed, or rather intercepted. Not for the moment it's been completed, but it's been intercepted by Stan Wallace. He intercepted right on his knees on the 48-yard line. I think it's the 44-yard line off Stanford. On the 44-yard line. So there's an intercepted forward pass, with Illinois taking over the ball on the 44-yard line in the territory of Stanford. We've got 8 minutes and 38 seconds left to play in the fourth and final period of a ball game that has the Fighting Illini out in front of the Stanford Indians 20-7. 20-7 in favor of Illinois as they go on the offensive 1st and 10 on the 44-yard line in Stanford territory. There's a flank back out to the left this time and a pitch back to Tate, the fullback, as he sweeps wide to the right, then cuts back, disengages himself from his interference, cracks back over the right side and moves up to about the 41. Making the stop there was Leon King, along with Bob Thompson. The guard and the halfback converging to make the stop on the 41-yard line. So there's a move up of 3 yards. Makes it second down coming up. Second down coming up. The ball has been moved back, however, to the 42-yard line. So that's where the official plants it, on the 42. About 15 yards into the sideline across the way. That means it'll be second and just about 9 yards to go. Between 8 and 9. Tight T in the backfield this time by Illinois. They're keeping that T tight in the backfield as Tate takes the ball on a handoff from O'Connell and pounds through the center of the line, moving over the 40, and drives down to about the 37-yard line, perhaps the 36, where Calfee of Richmond makes the tackle along with Skip Christ. The ball is being placed now on the 37-yard line. On the 37, where the down coming up will be the 3rd and 4 to gain for Illinois. He'll take the ball carrier that time. All pepped up down there. He's ready to go. He's been playing quite a ball game here for Illinois this afternoon. There's a flanker coming off to the left this time. That's Barkeris. He's playing in behind. His left end splits wide. Fading back with the pass and getting a short one. The screen pass off to Johnny Karras over on the 40-yard line. Karras moving down to the 55-yard line before he's hit. Spins along the sidelines and steps out of bounds on the 21. Johnny Karras taking the screen pass off on the right side into the flat. And Lobsher finally is able to knock him out of bounds over on the 21-yard line. I said Lobsher, I mean Saunders. So the ball moves down to the 21-yard line. Let's pick up that time of 16 yards on that pass play. And the pass patterns here for Illinois this afternoon have really been pretty good. Stanford has had some very fine pass patterns, particularly the pass patterns that have involved Big McCall and Ed. Well, you know, I'm putting it straight when I say that a man enjoys the peak of shaving convenience and comfort with the modern Gillette Super Speed razor. Folks, this razor changes blades presto, rinses clean in a jiffy, and skims off whiskers with the greatest of ease. Equally important, it gives you the best-looking, longest shaves of your life. The Gillette Super Speed is a one-piece razor of ingenious design and precision manufacture. It has nothing to take apart or put together, nothing to jam or clog, nothing to waste your time or try your patience. Why not see for yourself how easy and refreshing shaving can be? Buy a Gillette Super Speed razor at any convenience store. Complete with a 10-blade Gillette dispenser and easy opening styrene travel case, it's yours for only $1. While we have the timeout down on the field, we look down to see if there have been any changes made in the defensive formation, forward wall, particularly for Stanford, and we can see none. Illinois on the 21-yard Stanford line. Moves up there now, ready to go. 1st and 10. Tight T in the backfield this time, being called off. There is a buck through the right side, but Johnny Karras on a slider handoff. And he comes down to about the 17-yard line before he's stopped by Skip Christ and Leon King. It's Leon King from Sacramento, Skip Christ from Palo Alto. Johnny Karras, the Argo Express, carrying the ball through the right side of the line that time, moving it down to the 17. Skip Christ apparently was shaken up on that play. We've got 7 minutes left to go here in the ballgame. 6 minutes and 46 seconds, actually, according to the stadium clock here at Pasadena. The young fellow shaken up on the play was Skip Christ and Ted Tanner. T-A-N-N-E-R, the Santa Rosa sophomore, is coming in for Stanford. Stanford has taken time out, of course, for Skip Christ. We have a substitute coming in. At right guard, we have John Bauer of Benton. That's Benton, Illinois. He's a sophomore, 230-pounder. Coming out of the ball game is Don Midovic at right guard. From LaSalle, who's played a very fine ball game here this afternoon. He's a senior, 190 pounds. Pretty fast boy, too. He's been getting around that field down there, but good. He spells his name G-N-I-D-O-V-I-C. Don Midovic of LaSalle. Now we're ready to go as time is called back in. 6 minutes and 46 seconds left to play. Second down and 7 for Illinois. On the Stanford 17. There's a flanker coming off to the left this time. The backfield is now set. O'Connell takes the ball, feeds it off to Karras. Wide sweeper on the left side. Without interference, Karras is being chased. He's down to the 10, to the 5. He's hit and knocked out of bounds, I believe, on about the 1-yard line. Right, on the 1-yard line. He's out of bounds. Ted Turner and Bob Thompson knocking him out. Karras with the ball running from the 21-yard line, right down to the 1-yard line. You know that ball can really carry the mail when they get him loose and get him started. So the ball is on the 1-yard line where it is. First down, 1 yard, and goal to go for Illinois on the Stanford 1-yard line. The score right now is the University of Illinois 20 and Stanford 7. And let's see what happens up tight close here as they're on the 1-yard line. There's a flanker out to the left this time. The ball is being handled by O'Connell. He hands it off this time to Karras. A wide sweep, and he's caught behind the line of scrimmage on the line. Number 4 is the boy who did it. Ron Eady, the defensive end, who came knifing through there. Right back to the 9-yard line.
Ball is on the 8-yard line.
Eady made the grab back there on the line, so that moves Illinois back to the Stanford 9-yard line. Ball is walked in 15 yards from the sideline on this side of the field with 6 minutes and 15 seconds left to play in the fourth and final period of the ball game here at Pasadena, California. There's the wide flanker going out to the right this time. The end, Rex Smith, splits wide, so the flanker moves in inside of him, behind the line of scrimmage. There is O'Connell pitching out this time to Tate. There's a sweeper on the right side. Tate cuts back over right side and drives all the way down to the 1-yard line and falls over for a touchdown as he tackled hard. It was Bill Tate, the fullback, the junior from Mattoon, Illinois, the 187-pound fullback who took the pitch out and swung wide around his own right side. Suddenly cut back as he clipped over, hit down through the right side off his own right tackle, and stepped to the 1-yard line where he's hit by 3 men but went over. Now to try for the extra point, Sam Rebecca. Don Ingles to hold the ball. The score 27-7 in favor of Illinois. The step from center. The placement, the kick by Rebecca, and it is good. The score now is 28-7 in favor of the University of Illinois. While we're getting ready for this kickoff, we have a few seconds, so we pause 10 seconds for station identification. Here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, we have about 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the ball game. The score is 27-7 in favor of Illinois over Stanford. And the kickoff is Rudy Valentino. He moves forward on the whistle up to the 40-yard line. Boots the ball, a high end over end kick coming down to the Stanford 10. It's picked up on the 5 on the 10-yard line. He gallops to the sidelines on the far side and is hit on the 15-yard line and dumped on the 16. Making the tackle was Don Ernst, the Chicago sophomore. So it's first down and 10 yards to go now for Stanford on their own 16-yard line. First and 10 on the 16 for Stanford. So Illinois puts in their defensive unit now, which incidentally has been a fine defensive unit, not only for this ball game, but for the last 5 they played in the regular season. The regular team was not scored upon. There's Bob Garrett, the quarterback, throwing a screen pass out into the front on the 10-yard line to Sam Morley, the Stanford end, and he gets down to the 20 and over to the 25 before he's stopped by Andy Wojciak. The ball moving from the 16-yard line to the 25-yard line, right on the 25, for a pickup that time of 9 yards. Let's see, Joe Cole has come in now as defensive linebacker. He's from Park Ridge. Joe Cole, defensive left linebacker for Illinois. Out goes Popa. A wide flanker comes out to the right this time. That's Harry Higazian for Stanford. The ball comes back to Garrett. Bob Garrett swings wide around the right side. He looks as though he's going to throw for the moment, then decides to run the ball, runs the ball back to the 23-yard line, where he's dropped for a pickup to the 24. Chuck Boreal making the stop. Let's see what we have to do now on the 23-yard line. The ball is actually being placed on the 23-yard line. Stanford's 23, 15 yards in this sideline. Lost about 2 yards on that last play. Looking up at the clock, we see we have 4 minutes and a half left to play in the ball game. There is a snap into the backfield, and Bob Garrett flips that ball right down the Big McCall at the 28-yard line where it's completed, and he steps out of bounds at the 28. Make it the 27-yard line. It's going to be enough, however, for a first down, I believe, for Stanford on the 27-yard line. So it's going to be first down at 10 yards to go for Stanford on their own 28-yard line. Make it. You men who enjoyed this broadcast will get a heap of shaving comfort and satisfaction with Gillette Blue Blades. Just wanted to mention that because that's true. Let's see, we're ready to go now on the 15-yard marker in from the sideline. There's Garrett fading back, taking the ball, flipping a pass over on the 28-yard line. It is completed to Lobsher. Lobsher goes down on the 29, tackled by Chuck Boreal. Joe Cole was also in on that play. Cole wearing the big number 56. All resting right on the 29, 15 yards in from the sideline across the way. Now we're ready to go once more. Stanford goes back and huddles on their own 15-yard line. We have 3 minutes and about 39 seconds left to play. About 3 minutes and 39 seconds left to play in the fourth and final period of the ball game. The score is 27-7 in favor of Illinois over Stanford as Stanford comes out of the huddle up to the line of scrimmage. Tight D in the backfield this time with Garrett calling the signals. Ready for the ball to be snapped back. There is the snap back. And Bob Garrett fades back, shoots a long forward pass way downfield. It is almost completed on the 40-yard line to Wes Lobsher, but he has it screwed off his fingertips and go incomplete and out of bounds. Andy Wojciak was trailing the play. Big number 80 walking back there, Chicago junior, weighing 180 pounds. Number 74 coming in, that's Jim Bauman coming in for Illinois. He is the Pontiac sophomore. Coming out of there is Marvin Burchett. In goes Jim Bauman. There's a wide flanker out to the right this time for Stanford Indians. Ball set to the quarterback. He takes a handoff, keeps it himself, tries through the middle of the line, moves up to the 30, and that's where he stopped. Right on the 30. We have a couple of new men in also for Stanford. We'd like to give them the names, Griffin and Powell at the guards. Griffin from San Francisco, a senior, and Powell from South Pasadena. We also have John Steinberg in there from Melbourne, New Jersey. John Steinberg in at right end for Stanford. He's a sophomore, 190 pounds. That's fourth down and 7 for Stanford on their own, make it about 31-yard line. Going back in kick formation now to stand back on the 17-yard line is Dick Horn for Stanford on 4th and 7. Al Broski and Herb Nethery go back in safety position for Illinois as the kick is made. Dropping down on the Illinois 40-yard line, bouncing around on the 40. It looks as though it may come to rest right on the 40-yard line, which it does. Right on the 40. 15 yards into the sideline across the way. So it's first down and 10 yards to go for Illinois on their own 40-yard line with 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in the fourth and final period here in the 38th annual Rose Bowl game at Pasadena. So coming in now on the offense in the backfield for Illinois will be Tom O'Connell at quarter, Pete Buckhurst at left halfback, Tate at full, and Johnny Karras is in at right halfback. We'll check that backfield for you to make sure. We have John Ryan in at right end and Steve Nozick at left end for Illinois. As they come up to the line of scrimmage, keep a tight T in the backfield. Ball is stepped back to Connell, and he hands it off this time to Karras, who slides off on the crossbuck and drives to the right side of the line. As he cuts toward the sideline on the far side, moves over the 50 and down to about the 47-yard line. We have a couple of substitutions then now for Illinois. Don Stevens, senior from Pittsburgh and Youngstown, is in at left halfback. Clarence DeMoss, the freshman from Villa Park, Illinois, is coming in. Don Ingles is now running the ball club instead of Tom O'Connell. Bill Tate is still in there at fullback as far as we can ascertain. That's Austin Duke. Austin Duke has come in. Wide flanker out to the left this time. On 2nd and 2. Illinois ready to put the ball in play. Engels feeds that ball off this time to Dennis DeMark. He breaks through at left hand up to the 30, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10. It's hit and knocked out of bounds on the 6-yard line as he runs the sideline. Making the stop was Dick Horn. Dick Horn making the stop along with Bob Hoy and Tennepots. They were all converging over there. There's a boy down there that can really run that ball. And I understand from Al Tate, who is spotting for us here this afternoon, one of the assistant coaches at Illinois, that this boy runs 100 yards in 9.8. Is that right, Al? Oh, that's really moving in anybody's language. So it's first down. It's a first down for Illinois. On the Stanford, make it the 7-yard line. 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. There is a handoff in the backfield this time. Over to John Stevens, to the right side, and over for a touchdown. Now with the score standing 33-7, let's see who's going to try this extra point. If Sam Rebecca goes back into the ball game, he's the extra point and field goal specialist from Rockford, senior, 165 pounds. Sam Rebecca is going to try. Don Ingles will hold the ball. 33-7. Ready for the ball to be snapped back now. I believe that's Herb Borman in there at center. Is that right, Al? That's right. Herb Borman in that center now for Illinois. Ready for the snap to come back. It's back. It's placed. It's kicked. And it's no good. It's wide off to the right. The score is 33-7. Illinois over Stanford. Number 58. Watford for Stanford. Well, let's see, according to the stadium clock here at Pasadena at the Rose Bowl, in just 1 minute and 58 seconds, this 38th Rose Bowl will be history. It's been a real game and a real thrill here this afternoon. And fellows, for real shaving ease and convenience, get a Gillette Super Speed Razor. This precision-made instrument just skims the whiskers off, and when you're through, your face looks its best and really feels great. Now we're ready to go for the kickoff. For Illinois, kicking off will be Rudy Valentino, the East Chicago, Indiana boy. Let's see, Alfred Buskey is going to hold the ball for him. He's going to stay in there and do a little offensive play in here, probably. There is the kickoff now, going deep into the territory of Stanford, down on the 5-yard line. Bob Mathias with the Kaplan Chapman racing right back the middle of the field, down to the 20, to the 25. Hit by Captain Studley at the 25-yard line and dropped right on the 26-yard line. A 1-yard pickup after the tackle. So it's first down and 10 yards to go for Stanford. Ball resting on that 26-yard line. We've got a minute, about 45 seconds left to play here in the fourth and final period. Gagin coming out of the ball game for Stanford. Let's see who's going in his place. It's going to be Bill McKay, the senior from Rollins, Wyoming. Bill McKay, he's the flanker coming out wide to the right this time. Let's see what Korian does. It's not Korian, it's Garrett. Garrett taking the ball, fading back. The sophomore pitches one away downfield, intended for McCall. And he has to step out of bounds on the 48-yard line in Illinois territory, and then he cannot get it. It's an incompleted forward pass. A minute and about 35 seconds left to play in the fourth and final period of the ball game. Let's check that backfield here for Stanford. We have Bobby Garrett at quarterback. He's a sophomore from San Marino. Bill Gay, the senior from Rollins, Wyoming, at left halfback. The fullback is Bob Mathias, a junior from Tulare. And at right halfback is Wes Lobsher, the junior from Arcadia, California. That's the Stanford backfield right now. At ends, we have Sam Morney at left end and All-American Bill McCall at right end for Stanford. The score here is 33-7 in favor of Illinois over Stanford, as we have quite a lot of changes being made down there by Ray Elliott as he's sending the boys in to the Rose Bowl game here at Pasadena. Let's see, we have Taliaferro from Gary, Indiana, sophomore, who this year has played a lot of brilliant ball for Illinois, but an injury kept him from becoming a letterman. Taliaferro is in at left halfback. Marshall Dusenberry from Bradley, Illinois, is the fullback now. Clarence DeMarce, the freshman from Villa Park, is in there at right halfback. And Don Hentz is in there at quarterback. That's right now they're just getting a chance to get in and play. They're usually offensive men. It's Stanford's ball, second down and 10 from their own 25. As Garrett takes the ball, fades back, throws a pass across the line of scrimmage, which is incomplete at the 35-yard line, intended for Wes Lobsher. We still have a minute and 30 seconds left to play. Herb Bowman is also in the ball game for Illinois. As it's figured that Ray Elliott's given the boys all a chance to play. They made the trip out here. Illinois out in front 33-7 with a minute and 34 seconds left to play. And what gives a guy a greater kick than to have the opportunity of playing for his school in such an affair as this? Bill McKay now has come out wide on the flank to the right. The ball is snapped back to Garrett. He cocks his arm back to throw the pass, and he is caught by Jim Bauman, who filtered through the line and dropped him back on the 19-yard line. So the ball is resting on the 19-yard line in the territory of Stanford. And we still have about a minute and 15 seconds left to play. You see that forward wall for Stanford, we have Morley, Fick, Griffin, Tobin at center, Powell at right guard, Pyle that's Roderick at right tackle, and at right end is Bill McCall. So the ball is stepped back to the 14-yard line because a penalty has been inflicted against Stanford for using up a little bit too much time. So it means they have 3 and about 10, third down and about 10 yards to go. Wait a minute, back that up, Helfer. Make that fourth down and 23 yards to go. Standing back on his own goal line in kick formation is Dick Horn. The ball is snapped back to him, and the punt is blocked. The punt is blocked, and there's a wild scramble for it on the 3-yard line. Don't know who blocked that punt, but I believe it was Jim Bauman. And recovering for Illinois was Tom Murphy, I believe. Tom Murphy. Check me on that, Al-Tate. Tom Murphy. Well, we got more substitutes in there for Illinois now. We can shake a stick at. But we've had a blocked punt now, and on the 3-yard line, the ball was recovered by Tom Murphy. It looked as though it was Jim Bauman to block the punt and Tom Murphy to recover. A couple of linemen for Illinois. So it is first down, 3 yards and goal to go with 50 seconds left to play. Let me those glasses go. Let's see what happens to this backfield. Engels calling out the signals now. Ready to hand the ball over to anybody. There is the handoff, and the right halfback is stopped. Back on the 6-yard line. It is Ken Miller who's in the ball game now. Ken Miller at right halfback. Ray Elliott just sending everybody in the ball game. He can get off that bench. Marv Tenefos made the stop back there on the 6. So it's a loss of 3 yards. Let's see if we can't pick up that backfield for you now for Illinois. As here with about 30 seconds left to play in the fourth and final period, it is Don Engels at quarterback, Ken Miller at right halfback, Don Stevens at left halfback, and the fullback is Marshall Dusenberry. Wait a minute, he's out. Put in Drake. Freshman Austin Drake from Moline. 172-pound fullback. Let's see who gets the ball this time. Tight T in the backfield as Engels calls his signals out. Ready for the ball to be snapped back. There it is, snapped back. And jump pass across the line of scrimmage. It's complete. Number 83, John Ryan for a touchdown. Back firing a jump pass, which is a screener over the line of scrimmage to John Ryan, the Tolono sophomore, grabbing it in the end zone for 6 more points, and Illinois leads Stanford 39-7. We're having quite a time here picking out these substitutes for you. They're coming in and out of this ball game pretty well. Now here's Sam Rebecca to try for another extra point. Don Engels to hold the ball. 39-7 right this minute. There's the step back, the kick, and it is good. Another point for Illinois. So here we are in the final seconds of the ball game, having a blocked punt being turned into another Illinois touchdown. The score is University of Illinois 40, Stanford 7. And of course, Illinois will kick off to Stanford with 28 seconds left to play in the fourth and final period of this ball game. They had an up-and-tuck affair in the first half. The second half, Illinois came out with their expected ground-gaining ability to wrap this one up, and I think we can safely say it's wrapped up with a 40-7 score and less than a half minute left to play. It's as though the 38th annual Rose Bowl is about to be put down in history as an Illinois victory. Valentino is about to kick off now for Illinois. He moves forward on the whistle, boots the ball. It's a short kick coming downfield to the Stanford 25-yard line. It's picked up there after having been fumbled, and John Bauer comes in to make the tackle. And the fellow picking that ball up and running it in very fast was Steinberg. Steinberg, the end, dropped over to pick that one up. We've got about 20 seconds left to play in the fourth and final period. of the ball game. And the ball is on the 28-yard line. Yes, sir, it's a ball game here that will be long remembered by lots of people. Well, folks, for shaves that make your face look and feel its best, you need the world's #1 razor blade. Today's Gillette Blue Blade. Delaying the ball game a little bit across Stanford, penalty down to the 11-yard line, makes the 12-yard line. Substitutes have come in now for Stanford. Bob Garrett at quarterback, Bill McKay at left halfback, Bob Mathias at full, and Wes Lobcher is the right halfback. 21 seconds left to play in the game. Wide flanker out to the right this time is Bill McKay for Stanford. The ball is taken by Garrett. He fades back to his own goal line, and is being chased at the goal line, trying to get away. He's being still under on the 3, hit and dropped on his own 3-yard line. Jim Bauman in there to make the initial stop. Jim Bauman along with, let's see, that must have been Tom Murphy in there, right down on the 3. That was Tom Murphy. We've got about 5 seconds left to play in the ball game, and there it is, that's all. The gun goes off, ending the 38th Rose Bowl game here at Pasadena, California. Well, that's all there is to it. The final score is Illinois 40 and Stanford here in Southern California, a total of 7. Well, our good friend Braven Dyer will summarize the highlights of today's Rose Bowl game for you in just a moment.
Tight, rain, tight, rain, use new tight rain shampoo tonight, and tomorrow your hair will be sunshine bright.
White Rain, the wonderful new lotion shampoo from Tony to you. So gentle it's guaranteed not to dull or dry your hair. White Rain can't dull your hair because it's not a dulling soap or cream. Can't dry your hair because it's not a drying liquid. It's a new, gentle lotion shampoo that leaves your hair soft and smooth, bright as sunshine. Try White Rain tonight, the new lotion shampoo. The only shampoo guaranteed not to dull or dry your hair.
Use new White Rain shampoo tonight, and tomorrow your hair will be sunshine bright. White Rain, White Rain.
Well, I can certainly guarantee you that it's going to be awfully bright for the Fighting Illini here in Southern California tonight, as they have defeated Stanford 40-7. And this is Al Helfer, who would like very much to thank our engineers, Frank Fagan, Joy Kay, and Bob Jensen this afternoon for their excellent work behind the microphones. Also to the 2 spotters who were invaluable this afternoon in helping us bring the ball game to you play-by-play from Pasadena. The spotter for Illinois, Al Tate, last year's tackle on the ball club and now an assistant coach, and he's very happy because his brother played in the ball game today. And on the other side of the fence, Earl Gustafson of Inglewood, California, who began the year as a halfback for the Stanford Indians, and an injury kept him out of the lineup all year long. Of course, he was sitting up here champing into bed all day long. Thanks a lot, fellas. It was great to be with you, and I sincerely hope we can all get together again next year. And, of course, representing our sponsor this afternoon was Jim Andrews of Matson. And now, this is Al Helfer saying, Braven Dyer, it's really been great to see my first Rose Bowl game, and it's been even more fun working with you this afternoon, fella, and thanks an awful lot when you come on over east. Don't forget to come and see me, will you? Real quick.
Thank you, Al. I will, and congratulations on a swell job. You certainly had plenty to talk about, and you did it wonderfully, and I'm sure the people all over the country enjoyed this game the way you brought it to them. Now, for those of you who may not have been with us all the time or who may have tuned in along the way, here's how the game went. First of all, I'd like to give plenty of credit to Ray Elliott and Bert Ingleson and that fine Illinois coaching staff for the tremendous job they did with the team. The team was in a pretty tight fix there for quite a large share of the game, and then came very swiftly with plenty of punch and plenty of speed to take complete command and run away from Stanford all the way. 27 points in the final quarter, and I'd also like to give credit to a defensive player. You know, in this day and age of so much scoring, most of the plaudits go to the boys who make the points. But I believe the young man who broke the game wide open for Illinois here today was Stan Wallace, the sophomore defensive right halfback who stands about 6'3", and he made a rather remarkable interception of a pass by Gary Kerkorian, took it right out of the hands of Bill Storm, the Stanford end, and what is more, carried it back 47 yards or thereabouts
to the Stanford 13-yard line. At that time, Stanford was leading by a score of 7-6. The game was in the third quarter, and after that, the Fighting Illini were unstoppable. And the way the game went was this. Illinois took the kickoff, marched straight down the field, and this rabbit halfback, Pete Barkerus, scored from the 6-yard line. Stanford came right back after Rebecca had missed the conversion attempt and marched the length of the field, taking the kickoff with Harry O'Gazen scoring and Gary Krikorian kicking the point after touchdown to put Stanford out ahead 7-6. And that's the way things stood at halftime. That must be rather almost unbelievable to some of you who may have tuned in late and are hearing the score now of Illinois 40, Stanford 7, because at that time the game was very, very tight. And to show you how tight it was and how each team was trying to get one or more points on the scoreboard, each team tried a field goal. Rebecca missed one for Illinois in the second quarter, and Krikorian missed one for Stanford in the second quarter. So the half ended with Stanford out in front by a score of 7-6. But that's something of an old story out here. I believe that California in the last 3 games enjoyed a lead at one time. In fact, in a couple of the games, they were leading with about 5 or 6 minutes left to play. But the Big Tenors, as usual, came fast, and with Stan Wallace breaking the game wide open in the third quarter with his tremendous pass interception, very skillfully done, because he had to leap high, come fast, and get in front of the receiver, the intended receiver, and returning it almost 50 yards to the 13-yard line. Then all broke loose. Stanford took the kickoff, could not gain after that, trailing 13-7, and when Illinois got the ball again, it was all over. Tate, Big Bill Tate, the fullback, who probably, when the statistics are compiled, was the leading ground gainer of the day, scored a touchdown from the 5-yard line, and then they followed in rapid succession. Johnny Karras, the All-American halfback, who was very fast and swift out today, scored one from the 7-yard line, and Tate again from 8 yards out, and then Don Stevens. After young DeMoss, a fine sprinter at Illinois, had carried the ball 46 yards on a blazing play around left end, all the way to the 7, then Don Stevens scored from the 7-yard line. And late in the game, with the game almost over, Jim Bauman blocked a punt, and it was a 4th down punt, and although Stanford recovered deep almost to their own goal line, it did them no good because the ball went over to Illinois. And with mostly Illinois substitutes on the field, Jack Ryan in the end zone took a short pass. The line of scrimmage was a 6-yard line. Don Ingalls was the thrower. And the final score, Illinois 40, Stanford 7. Once more, plenty of credit to that fine Illinois coaching staff. I think in the final analysis, Bert Inglerson with that line that enabled Illinois to run through the Stanford line, a hard-charging line, a big tackle in there. Number 75 played a very important game for Illinois with his tremendous blocking. That's Ulrich. He did a tremendous job of opening the holes there, and the ball carriers popped through with amazing speed. So all credit to Illinois, and of course out here on the West Coast, we're glad we won't see them again next year, but it doesn't seem to make much difference which team comes from the Big Ten. They really embarrass us. Now, we'll just have to wait another year, but I'm not too hopeful of what might happen. Anyway, Stanford tried hard, was in there pitching all the time, and they gave us at least one full half of thrills and well into the third quarter, but then the Illinois team was just too much for them, and our congratulations go to Illinois for putting on another great Rose Bowl show. Well, folks, that's the story of another colorful Rose Bowl game. Another stellar attraction in Gillette's continuous cavalcade of sports. Our next broadcast, a major boxing event, will come to you Friday night from New York. For a rousing good time, plan to be with us and enjoy the excitement when Chico Vijar meets Enrique Bolaños in a welterweight 10-rounder that promises to be a corker. Until then, this is Braven Dyer with Al Helfer saying smooth sailing, smooth shaving, and good afternoon for your host, the Gillette Safety Razor Company. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.